Welcome, my fellow nails, to a primetime watch along right here on the Forward Progress YouTube channel, powered by the Hammer Betting Network and presented by Pinnacle Sportsbook for the first time. Very happy to have Pinnacle as a sponsor for our live watch alongs going forwards. I see everyone in the chat in the early going. Some might be in better moods than others. Seems like Anthony's at a Holiday Inn in the middle of nowhere, betting on football. That is the absolute dream life. This is not the absolute dream game, but we will get through it tonight with four great guests. Geoff Fienberg, the Whale Capper, Drew Dinsick, Eric Eager, and G-Stack George rounding it off in the fourth quarter. It's going to be a great night. Before we get into it, I just ask everyone take 2 seconds. Make sure you smash that like button down below and make sure you're subscribed here on the Forward Progress YouTube channel. And if you want, as a bonus, hit that bell, set bell notifications. You get a live alert every single time that we go live with content here on Forward Progress. Now, full disclosure, you guys know this, the ones that have been a part of this before and been in this stream. Normally, I don't want to say that I spray the board for these Thursday night football games with props or Monday night football games, the primetime games, but typically I got like 5 or 6 things that I really like, and we lock those in. I'm not sure that I can even lock in one thing for tonight's game. That includes the anytime touch. These anytime touchdown scorer markets nowadays are nuts. The total in this game is like 37, and these guys are priced like the total is in the 50s for these anytime touchdown score markets. So line shop as best as you can. If you're going to play these markets, make sure you line shop. And honestly, shameless plug, but make sure you have Pinnacle as one of your sports books if you do so, because oftentimes they're going to have the best price in market, everyday competitive odds. Bet Pinnacle, your trusted sports book for the past 25 years. And if you're going to sign up to Pinnacle in Ontario, use code HAMMER, as it does support the show. Let's get into the game line, Zach. We'll bring up BetStap here to look at the current game line, Pittsburgh and Tennessee tonight. And it was pretty much one-way action today towards the Pittsburgh Steelers. There was a release from Joey Tunes on Tennessee that went right back in his face, and a little bit more money towards Pittsburgh. We settle in at 3 here. Honestly, the most likely outcome in this game is Pittsburgh to win by exactly 3. It's the most likely outcome. 2.5, I understand it. I get all the arguments for Pittsburgh. Will Levis looked good last week. 4 touchdowns. Did he really look good when you watched the tape? No, not really. A lot of high leverage plays worked in his favor. There was obviously the push off from DeAndre Hopkins on AJ Terrell early on in that game. Now going from hosting Atlanta to on the road at Pittsburgh. Now, with that said, Will Levis will have played some big games on the road in the SEC. That happened before. It's not like this is going to be the first time he's played a big game on the road, but it's a different animal, different beast in the NFL. So, no strong opinion anymore at current market price. I'm telling you right now, just so everyone's fully aware, I'm rooting for the Steelers tonight. You got a pro Steelers host tonight. It rarely happens. I hate the Steelers. Tonight, we got a pro Steelers host. Fries was in here earlier, just chatting up a storm. Nail the ears back, sack that rookie. Let's go 100%. I'm going with the Mike Tomlin voodoo over the Mike Vrabel voodoo, the 2 voodoo kings. Now, in terms of props, first and foremost, if you're rooting for a prop, put it in the chat. I'll try to bring them up on screen. No TD score plus 5,000. I don't hate it. It's in line with what someone else said earlier about an alternate line. I think Plus EV Analytics tweeted it earlier today, and a lot of people have just started to bet it. But basically, like the alternate under 20 at plus 870, that's a look for some people. I get it. Could be a terrible game, and I totally understand that. This one is Geoff Phillips, 2 TDs, 200 to 1. Let's burn some money. If there's one person that might be underpriced that I looked at in the touchdown score markets, it's Kyle Phillips. Now, the problem is there's only like one sportsbook out there offering a great price on him. So I don't know if I can get behind this. I don't know what I can get behind. We got some no TD. We got Najee under 1.5 receptions plus 140. We got Levis over 10.5 rushing yards. That's a very popular one. I'm not sure what it's at right now, but that was a very popular one today. August Young, appreciate you, brother. The usual support. Thank you very much. Sometimes we're opposites. It's going to happen. That's the NFL. Pretty split game. I think a lot of people took the Titans +3. Some people took the Steelers earlier in the week, but appreciate the support here for Forward Progress. Everyone check out August Young on Twitter. Great dude, supports the show. You can too via donations, or if you don't want to donate, you can just hit the like button down below. That is good enough for us as it helps people find our content going forward. So what else we got here? Chris Boswell over 1.5 field goals made. Don't hate that either. All right. In terms of what I was looking at, I'm not going to lock in plays, but I'll tell you right now that the closest I came to playing anything was Najee Harris over on rushing attempts tonight. It's borderline playable. Honestly, it's not a bad bet if you just want to root for something. And I know there were some service releases on Najee Harris under rushing yards, but just pure attempts in market, you can get over 13.5 at plus money at pretty much any sportsbook in market right now. And this one's simple. It's kind of tied to me somewhat liking the Steelers in the game. But when you look at the games that the Steelers have led for the most part this year, whether that was Las Vegas in week 3, Baltimore, that was a kind of like a comeback in the fourth quarter, week 5, the Rams a couple weeks ago. These are games where Najee Harris got 19 carries, 14 carries, 14 carries. This is a little bit suppressed because of Jacksonville last week, where he only had 7 carries. They were trailing the whole game. They weren't going to hand the ball off a million times. But I know the Titans defense is very good at stopping the run. Matt Canada, whether he's up in the booth or on the sidelines like he's going to be tonight, he stinks. As an offensive coordinator, they're going to probably run the ball. That's likely what they're going to do. So that was the closest I came to anything for the group that's watching now. Nick Westbrook-Akine. We talked about him a little bit on Forward Progress this week. Hitman talked about him today, the show this afternoon with Jason Cooper. Talked about him earlier in the week. Problem is the price has kind of gotten out of range now. Like Nick Westbrook-Akine is falling out of favor with the Tennessee offense. You look at last week, which was a different game now with Treylon Burks back in the mix. And like people are starting to like Kyle Phillips because Kyle Phillips saw 18 snaps last week, 27 snaps in week 6. But it's coming out of Nick Westbrook-Akine. It's not coming out of DeAndre Hopkins, not coming out of Treylon Burks, not coming out of Chris Moore. Westbrook-Akine is losing it. But at this point, like, do I want to chase that number? Not sure that I do. For the anytime touchdown market, which I'm not betting because the prices are not the greatest, I kind of like Najee Harris. He's only scored 1 touchdown this year. Plus 190. He's getting like longer odds than George Pickens to score a touchdown and stuff like that. That's kind of the one that stands out to me. I don't hate at all the Kyle Phillips ones, long shots, people looking for Kyle Phillips, but make sure that one is like you're getting the best price. Like at least get a good price on that one way or another. We got some Will Levis anytime TD in the chat. We got some Will Levis to score 2 TDs in the chat. I mean, Will Levis, it's totally like up in the air, essentially. Could happen. I'll go on record. My favorite prop, if I had to play one, and if you're going to tail, please play responsibly. Know that I'm not actually betting at this number, but if I had to bet a prop, it's Najee Harris over on rushing attempts. That is the prop that I like the most. Pittsburgh defense, 2 TDs. You got to give me more than 60-1 for a defense to score 2 TDs. It's got to be more than 60-1. I like the idea. I like the thinking. Rattle the rookie. Get home. but it's got to be a bigger price than that. Although, if you're looking for a dart, something to cheer for, I would cheer for that. All right. Just looking at my screen here to see who Davis Sanchez is going to pick. He gave out Najee Harris anytime touchdown. It's almost like the guy's reading my mail. Worse price than what's available out there, naturally. But guys reading my mail. Keanu Neal over 5.5 tackles and assists. I haven't really gotten into the defensive side of the ball props. I know Eric Eager gives out some pretty regularly on the Thursday show. Did this afternoon. But that's something that I think could probably be a pretty viable edge. Let's listen. Let's collectively, I want to fire a first TD. We got 2 minutes left. Everyone in the chat, spam the chat right now. First TD. Who do you think is going to get the first TD tonight? Whatever. Spam the chat. I'll rip a bet real quick. That's really what I want to happen at this point. Might as well cheer for something. I'll probably do one of each team. One of each team. I mean, at this point, Kyle Phillips kind of has to be one of them, no? Oh, we're all over the place. We're all over the place. Spears, DeAndre Hopkins, Deontay Johnson. I kind of like Deontay Johnson. I mean, Deontay Johnson's being priced longer odds than Pickens. I don't know, Jim. I don't know. We're all over the place. I can't even settle on one. There's lots of Deontay. Fuck it. We're going in on Deontay. It's happening. First TD, Deontay Johnson, 10-1 is pretty widely available. That's just going to really quickly get that off. Nothing better than betting while doing content. The absolute finest content when the host is ripping bets right before the game starts. Okay, we're in. We are in. No first touchdown action. That I just hope it's not that kind of game, guys. Like I get it. I just hope it's not that kind of game. The swag, the penny swag. I see all you in the comments about the penny swag. Don't worry. Over time, we're going to have some contests. And I'm going to come back to all the first touchdown scores that were here before. And believe me, I'm like an elephant. I never forget. Never forget. Not saying I'm going to necessarily send you some penny swag tomorrow, but there might be something in it for you at the end of the day. Speaking of penny swag, I can see him in the green room. No one wears it better. I can't see if he's still got that mustache, though. Geoff Fienberg?
It's still there.
This
Wife's
is
not happy, Rob.
My wife hates when she babied me. Like I was making up a bunch of excuses, but like she already gave me the ultimatum when I had the mustache. But I also woke up one morning and I had to go to the dentist for like a post-op for them to check out my tooth, see how it's. And I looked at myself in the mirror. I'm like, it's one thing to do content with this mustache, but it's another to step out in public with it. And I just got rid of it, man.
Yeah, so I've had a couple incidents. For starters, I've never had a mustache in my life. Like, period. You do this, like one thing for content or a costume, and I'll tell you, if it wasn't Movember, I feel like I would hold out on my wife a little longer. But I don't want, not to say I'm anti-Movember, but like it feels like now it's just like mainstream once you're like 5 days into the month.
It is for a good cause, though.
Yeah, but I haven't started that. Now I'm already cheating. This is cheating. Like,
well,
when you
it's
do
technically,
that,
yeah, but you just said like it takes you a while. You don't grow a good mustache, right?
well,
So,
I've
like,
never
that's
really had one, and you didn't even know if I had it. Like, it's, I got some dark hair, but grows in kind of blonde baby still, so you couldn't even tell if it was there on the small screen.
Mustache pure minus EV.
Yeah, it probably is. Considering I've
It's-
never had one in my life other than the last 3 days, I will agree. Like, I've never wanted one, and yeah, it's gotta go. Every day my wife's like, "It's still there." It's like, "Yeah, I don't know. It's just leaving. It's leaving."
you kind of look, what Eric said on the stream last time, you look like a Blue Jays, seventh inning reliever. You kind of look like a truck driver. I'm going to just be honest with you. Like
Yeah,
if I didn't know you in person, I ran into you at the grocery store, I'd be like, "Oh, look at this truck driver over here." I don't know what it is. I don't want to like discriminate against truck drivers or anything like that. But yeah, the people are calling for the handlebars down
yeah, that was only
to the
my only
jawline.
mistake. I guess I should have left those. When I say I had a couple incidents, I was like meeting someone who just one of my wife's just an associate of something, and I meet them and I like leave the interaction. I'm like, oh my God, I have this mustache. I've never had a mustache in my life. I hope you can clarify with them that this is still like leftover Halloween.
Yeah,
Oh shoot, my
it's
TV
going to be
wasn't
tough.
even on.
You should turn on the game. It's 3rd and 6 coming up for the Steelers right now. I'm going to do a quick sync for the people out there. As soon as I see the play clock, Matt Canada on the sideline is too much, man. Like this is going to be some big change. He's no longer in the booth. He's on the sideline. Play clock is 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And we got a snap off on 3rd and 6. Pickett well protected. See this thing? First down. Allen Robinson. Wow. Seeing Allen Robinson wide open must have been a zone coverage because this guy ain't beating man no more. I'll tell you that.
October is the NFL in their cancer hats, and November is the military swag.
Oh, I forgot Joey Grable. First time I met him was wearing a Tennessee Vols hat. Yeah. I'm sorry, Joey. This is there's a few people cheering.
But Joey didn't seem to give a shit about the Titans. I think Molitor asked him if he cares. Like, no, he's volunteers. Like, that's
seems like he might just be a bandwagon jumper.
No, not a bandwagon. Like, if you ask Joey who's favorite NFL team, I think he says the Titans. It's like regional, but I feel like he cares about the volunteers. Like, that's his team.
Well, I'm just gonna go with bandwagon jumper. You know how Kanish always comes on and he's always got like a different Joey name, like Joey Buckets, Joey this, Joey Football. We're going with Joey Bandwagon for Joey Grable going forwards.
I bet Pittsburgh when I saw LeBron tweet that he liked the Titans. I just needed a vibe tonight, Rob, to get on a side.
Yep.
So that's what I'm about.
I love that.
Darnell Washington, 45-1 first TD.
Wow, okay. Darnell. I got nothing going. I'm cheering for the Steelers. I need the Steelers to win by 3 points or more tonight. That would be nice. I hate starting the week with losses. It's not even a big bet anyways. I should be full disclosure to everyone. It's not even like a real size bet. But I am still rooting for my no matter what. So Najee got the first carry of the game, and now Jaylen Warren is in. Caught a reception, went off left tackle for 7 yards. So be interesting to see what the usage is like. I like the Steelers a lot going forwards if they use Jaylen Warren more. These scripted plays are good, though, for Pickett so far. These are some
Canada's
good scripted
okay
plays.
Here.
Yeah. Just get the ball out of his flag. I don't want to see flags, man. I don't want this to be a flag fest tonight. Oh, defensive offside. Geoff, you come prepared with one of these? You got the leftover candy bowls with you tonight? Just rummaging through. You take the best candy from your kids or what?
But more like leftover, like of the actual bag of candy.
Yeah.
So I didn't know you were rocking one too. But
so I bought these to hand out the other day, and Kinder Bueno minis, and I opened one up and I had it, and then I'm like, I'm not giving these away to the kids. I'm just gonna eat these 55 that are in here myself. These are amazing. Next year, if you see these, you'll be the hit of the neighborhood.
My kids, should I go steal a few from my kids?
They have
mini ones.
Yeah, this is it. This is the Kinder Bueno mini.
I've never had that before.
Oh, they're an absolute banger of a chocolate. Can't lie. They're an absolute banger of a chocolate. Oh man. All right. I love the commentary whenever you're on, Geoff. Fienberg in a different bowl tonight.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Oh man. Who did you say you got first TD?
Washington.
Don't know Washington yet.
He's a 3rd round pick tight end from Georgia. Go Dogs.
Yeah. Oh, that was a horrible throw by Pickett. Horrible. All it takes is like one ineligible, like a 5-yard penalty to the Steelers offense. It feels like it's a 15-yard penalty.
Is this like the Voodoo Bowl?
Yeah. Well, I said that off the top. 100. These are the two coaches that are like, I don't know how they do it. Well, it's different. I have like way more faith in Vrabel than I do Tomlin, even though Tomlin's been doing it for a lot longer. But it definitely has the vibes of the Voodoo Bowl, 100%.
I thought the Titans would make. I tell you, that win on Sunday must have prevented them from making 1 or 2 trades. And I'm not even talking about Derrick Henry, Rob. Like,
Right.
Once they traded Byard, like, isn't that the sign?
So one thing I did do was go back years and look at teams who've like traded away guys at the deadline to see if there was actually a significant drop off in the next couple weeks, because we kind of like craft the narrative that they're giving up on the season. And really there hasn't been for the first few weeks after the deadline.
Well, see, that is like anything. And when I say anything, like the backups, like those guys can rise up for a game and a half. They quickly realize how screwed they are, though. Trust me. Usually. You always see that. And I always wonder, you see in the NBA, be like Carmelo in his prime is out of the game, and the spread moves like 2 points. You're like,
yeah, I know.
We're more than 2 points. Like, and they know, like, the scrubs step up. I know it's like a weird way to look at it, but it's so.
Yeah, they do. I get it, man. It is this was like the steam chasing NBA injury news last year. It's like Kawhi Leonard should be worth a lot more to the spread, but I don't know. First game without them. First and goal, Pittsburgh.
Rob, I watch NBA. I cheer for the Raptors to get 12 threes in a game.
Najee Harris in for the touchdown.
Okay.
You know what I didn't bet, Geoff?
Najee
Prior
Harris?
to the stream? Najee Harris anytime touchdown. Yeah.
What would that been? That's like a minus.
No, it's nothing. It's like plus 195. Yeah, plus 195.
That much?
Yeah, that much. I'm just going to have a Twizzler now to cope. Just going to have to cope.
Titans could be, well, I don't want to speak too early. My bet was I like to bet a TV game. I really had no vibe.
Yeah.
Saw LeBron post. He's on the Titans, riding the Will Levis hype.
No, I love that. I love that. Well, we haven't seen a Will Levis drive yet, but yeah.
No, I like Will Levis. I was pro Will Levis, like going into the draft. I laughed as the draft unfolded a little, but
you a mayonnaise and coffee type of guy?
No, not at all.
You tried it to support your guy Levis? No,
I'm not really a coffee guy, period. So I'm not going to try that either.
All right. Well, it's probably, I wish I could get off coffee, but now it's done. I drink like 3-4 coffee. I'm drinking a coffee right now. Like, what am I going to do? I love this. Is Sideline Canada the next Shanahan? One drive on the sideline, all of a sudden, Matt Canada. They're perfect since he's moved down to the sidelines.
What's Gia Duddy?
I don't know. Zach, you have any idea? Zach's eating his dinner. You're going to get him on the mic here. Cover your eyes, people, because this mustache is something else when he gets in here.
Do you want me on cam here?
Audio only makes a lot of sense. Yeah, go for it.
Oh, that's sorry. Yeah, that's the girlfriend's name. I didn't even know her name.
Yeah, and she secured the bag after that. She got like Burger King deals and like Instagram ad deals and stuff. Like, good for her.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah, good for her.
So like there's a mini industry of like how much money because the girlfriend of the QB that goes first overall,
Yep.
like not to say she can't be a smoke show and get her like moment, but when you are the quarterback that is expected to be taken at any time and you sit there for an extra like 3 hours, like that's the girlfriend that gets to cash in on Burger King.
Yeah. No, I get it. Totally get it. Does anyone remember CD Lamb's girlfriend's name? Do you remember that at the draft?
No.
That was a very uncomfortable situation. Zach,
That
do you
was
remember
the
CD Lamb?
best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to find the girlfriend, but that was when he had the phone and she took it and then he snatched it back from her.
He was not happy that she took his phone from him. Not happy one bit.
Oh, yeah, that's good. No, Steven, all I mean by knowing the industry, like the influencer, like the quarterback who slides girlfriend gets into the influencer industry.
I don't know if Moretto is serious or not. He dumped her the next day.
No, he didn't.
No, maybe CD Lamb, I think.
Oh, CD Lamb, yeah.
He was pissed, man. It was very uncomfortable. Like you could feel the awkwardness through the screen. She stole the phone. He wasn't happy about that. I saw a guy eating these Twizzlers the other day. Put the whole thing in his mouth like it would like a beef jerky. You got to peel it like it's like a cheese.
Bone peels. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't put the whole thing in your mouth like an idiot. Yeah, here it is. Let's see if we can. Are we allowed to play this or are we going to get demonetized? Well, whatever. Yeah.
You don't.
The head shake is too good. No, I mean, there's some good content on there, Zach. Coming up next, some live watch-alongs, analysis, betting, and more. Eric Eager joins the show. Circles off. Banger episode. Good YouTube recommendations right there.
And Rob, you might get because right now hockey is no longer a live draft. Well, it's like still a live draft, but they took away the dudes in the middle, like the 150 suits, which I like.
Gary Bettman, though, I can't stand this guy. If there's one guy that irks me more than anyone on earth, it's Bettman. I can't take any change that the NHL makes. I just oppose it because I hate Bettman so much. That's where I'm at right now.
But I don't want to bore people. I don't want to bore people. But what do you make of what he did to the Senators?
I honestly, I'm just upset. I'm upset because I don't like Bettman.
Okay.
Whatever he does, in my opinion, is that he sucks. The guy sucks.
Everything they do. They're the only league in the world that that body armor company owes them. Like they're the only team that signs a drink deal with a company that goes bankrupt.
Yep, dude, this playoff format that they have every year, there's not a single fan that wants this format. Like no one. You cannot find me anyone that likes this one format, and he's just like gung-ho on forcing this damn shit down our throats. It's the same teams playing every year. We don't want to see that. Give us some new matchups. Please, God. Is he worse than Manfred? 100 times worse. He's worse than Goodell. Bettman is the worst. Because not only does he stink, but he's got that shit-eating grin on top of it all the time. I'm getting frustrated talking about Bettman. This is like when Jeff's wife tells him to put up Halloween decorations a month before Halloween. That's how I feel right now.
So when does that go down though? I feel this sad thing. Like I picture Tim today with music in the background, taking down his decorations, filling up his tote box, walking to the elevator, going to the storage locker in his condo. But yeah, I don't know. Why do people hate Manfred? Because they think he's like just not a baseball fan. But I think the rule changes were pretty good.
He's trying to speed up
the Astros. He called the World Series trophy a piece of metal. So that really pissed off like baseball guys. Fair enough. That right? That like
you know what? Baseball's in trouble, man. Baseball's in trouble. I was such a big baseball fan. I cannot
Not
get
good, Joey. Not good enough. Sorry if you tailed that one.
I'm also on Pendrith. I forgot that the tournament was even going on. I see this has struck a chord with you, Jeff. Canadian Taylor Pendrith having big problems.
No, I like Pendrith, but I bet him this week, and I didn't really bet many guys, so I don't have much to cheer for. And I don't think he played very well today.
I need to see this penalty on Patrick Peterson because he broke up this play so easily, and he looks very dejected by this flag call. Okay, they called illegal contact, not DPI.
Seems Bush League.
It seemed like he was, I don't know, let's see. 5 yards. Does he make contact after the 41? I mean, he's got a hand on him the whole way. Tough. You got to take your hands off the receiver at some point. Will Levis with the little fist pump with the flag call. Oh, man. You've eaten too much candy. It's a real problem.
Oh, yeah. I crushed way too much candy this week.
Yeah. You're not diabetic, though. I'm diabetic. So,
no.
Yeah.
And I know it's like an old move, but you eat this little Smarties first, and then that can be your mini garbage can. As you eat 5 other minis, and you just shove the wrappers in there.
Okay. That I don't do that, but it actually is a genius move. I don't like Smarties. I don't eat the Smarties. So that is a plus EV move for sure. Just because look, I got garbage all over my desk. Just garbage wrappers. I got nowhere to put this stuff. They're just gonna sit here for a while. But my pro move, which if you're type 1 diabetic, like I am, I take a little bit too much insulin to purposely bring the sugar low. That way I can eat some candy. And when my wife is like, why are you eating that much candy? I'm like, my sugar's low, whatever. I do the prick, check the blood. I'm like, yeah, there we go. See, it's 3.7. I need a couple of chocolates or whatever. But I do this at every meal for the next 2 weeks, basically. That's my pro move.
But we had so much leftover candy. My kids got so much candy. It's just there's too much candy. And it's almost like I'll take the bullet. I don't want my kids to overeat the candy. They'll eat enough. I'll do the overeating, I guess. Big 4th and 1 here.
Yeah, I just saw him come down short. Tajay Spears. Honestly, Spears is good.
Yeah, he is good.
He this should have been a 4th and 4, but he got up. Now let's see if Rabel's gonna go or if he's gonna punt.
He's gotta go.
You know what? I think he's going to at least line up to go for it. I don't know if he will, to be honest. He's done a lot of this punting at midfield over the years. They're going to the line of scrimmage very quick with Derrick Henry and Wildcat.
Ooh.
And they got it. Wow. I got to tell you, I was not a fan of that play. I know it worked.
I don't know. There's so many horrible 3rd and short play, 4th and short. I actually don't mind that one, Rob.
I hate the Wildcat nowadays. You give away the fact that Derrick Henry's not going to throw the ball. He's not going to throw. We know he's not. The nice thing about that play was that he faked the flip to the right there, which maybe got some of the defense working that way. But he's not going to throw the ball. I don't know if this is a really not a lie. Some little kids just came to my door and asked if I wanted to buy candy from their stash. You know what? Good on the kids. Capitalism reigns supreme. Did you buy any from the stash, Jay? It's a different story. Wildcat is garbage unless you're willing to throw, in my opinion. I agree. Taysom Hill in the Wildcat, very different than Derrick Henry in the Wildcat. Oh, face mask too now. So we're going to have a red zone for the, or close to, for the Steelers. What I also did, Jeff, pumpkin seeds.
Yeah. Those are.
Roasted them with some salt, garlic powder, chili pepper.
Yeah, that's a move.
Oh man, look at this! Look at this bad boy right here.
Oh yeah, there it is. Probably smells
Woo.
lovely.
Oh, it's good, man. Just gonna be ripping these all night. Gonna be ripping these all night. All right, we're in the red zone here.
Not a good start for the underbetters.
It's at least been slow and methodical, like no explosive play so far.
Yeah, I guess. And if they hold this to a field goal, you can get out of the half.
Yeah.
Or the quarter, potentially.
Yeah. They tried like this was just like I mean, listen, you could try whatever you want, but this was somewhat of a trick play that went nowhere. Went nowhere. Oh man.
We'll see when Levis is gonna chuck downfield.
He was very boomer bust last week. Again, they have Henry in the Wildcat. I got to tell you, not a fan. Not a fan of the Wildcat. Going to be 3rd and 10 for the Titans. Big 3rd and 10 here. Could say it's the game. Some might say that's game.
Some might say. Yeah, they are protecting Levis pretty good so far.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. We're going to see here. All right. 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 8. Why did I think it was 10? That was offside. That's 100% offside. Blitzer came way early. Way early. Highsmith back in the game at least. He was out of the game.
A lot of penalties on this drive, Rob. Going back to that Patterson one on the first 3rd down.
I believe Pittsburgh's this will be their 5th penalty of the game already.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is going to be their 5th penalty for 45 yards so far.
Oh yeah, you're right. They did have one.
2 fouls, both by the defense. What's going to be the automatic first down? Yeah, illegal use of hands. Here we go.
What a disastrous drive for Pittsburgh.
It begins, man.
I don't even know how to quantify what Tennessee has done on this drive, to be honest.
Oh my God. These are both obvious penalties. Both of them obvious penalties. I don't know what the hell Porter was doing on that play. No idea.
But yeah, the Steelers drive was under 5 minutes. This one's been long, though.
Yeah, this one's been out there for a while. Yeah, this is a trick play again. Didn't work. Oh my God. How did Hopkins even pick up yardage here?
It'll be really interesting, Rob, to see what the Titans do in the red zone, because weren't all those touchdowns like 20-yard plus passes last week?
They were bombs last week.
So they don't really even have any film on Levis red zone, but and young quarterbacks love to run. They love to show their teammates like they got the stones. Until they prove it. Like, even obviously my mind will go to like Herbert, but like that first game, he like ran for everything. Like,
totally agree. Jaron Hall, anytime touchdown this week. Book it. You heard it here first.
They're afraid to throw. They just tuck it.
No, I'm with you, man. They like to get fired up. That's a screen that was blown up. Steelers have played this well.
And they got to show like their teammates that like, no, they'll like die for this shit. Like I mean, like they got to show like, no, I'll go to the hospital for you guys today if that's what it takes to score a touchdown.
How long has Vrabel been the coach for Tennessee now?
Is 8 years?
8 years?
What would the over-under be if I like 7.5, 8 seasons now? No?
I feel like I've watched him break up more trick plays in the first quarter tonight than he has in the last 8 years, is what I'm getting at. Don't know what they're running tonight, but it's a lot of trickery.
7-minute drive. I mean, this is the key. They just got to finish it.
You nailed it, Jeff. Well, Levis tried to take off. What's the penalty going to be? I don't know. There's TJ Watt doesn't even have a helmet on anymore. Tell me this is going to be another flag on Pittsburgh and I'm going to throw up. Oh my. What? Okay. I think he just announced illegal hands on the defense, but pointed at the Titans. Unless I heard wrong. I might have heard wrong. I'm wearing headphones. But he ripped the TJ Watt's helmet off, man.
Did they hear? What did they call?
It's good. It's a fourth down.
Yeah.
It's
I
gonna be
kind
fourth
of
and
wanted
50.
the Titans to score a touchdown there, Rob. I was going to re-up on Pittsburgh.
You know what?
I don't know what to like. Yes, Matt Canada scripted look better than it might look in an hour, but I kind of, I don't know. What's Levis working with here? I'm a fan though. That's the thing. If he wants to gunsling it,
Yeah, whatever.
I'm on Texas Tech tonight. They're winning at the half.
Well, let's see what I got going on tonight. You're on Texas Tech.
Yeah, -2.5. Leafs are down 2-0 to Boston.
That's great. I'm on
Zach's
Troy.
probably enjoying that.
Troy -4.5. Don't know what it closed at. I'm at Wake Forest +7. Wake Forest looks like they're winning. That's good.
Yeah,
Steelers
Duke in the red
-2.5,
zone for Wake
-115. Yeah. And I have a YOLO hockey parlay. Let's check the hockey scores. It's not looking good for me. I have a YOLO hockey parlay with Kings, Blue Jackets, trailing 2-1. Kings, Blue Jackets, Hurricanes, Kraken, Devils.
Rob, someone wants you to finish your baseball's in trouble thought.
NBA is like, it's so easy to watch. The games are short. They promote like their players really well. Like baseball, there's like top 10 players in the league that if I ran into on the street tomorrow, I wouldn't even recognize that they're there. They do such a horrible job with social media, with everything in regards to growing the game. It's horrible. Everything. I can't do it anymore. I watch Jays games. I couldn't even get through a World Series game, man. I don't know what it is about baseball now. I mean, it could have been the teams
this year.
Yeah, they're improving the speed. I get it. I just don't know. I don't know why I've lost interest.
I would argue that the NBA, how do I put this? Like, no one gets less for what they pay for than NBA fans. And that includes NBA broadcast partners. The stars play less games, they play less minutes. The value of the games are hyper diluted. It literally seems like, I know you're talking about the MLB, like Twitter or social media. The NBA regular season feels like it's 6 months of like Twitter fodder instead of like actual anything.
I'm dying with the chili peppers on the seeds. Oh God, the pumpkin seeds are killing me. I don't care about the Jays comment, but MLB Dream, no offense, Glenn. The World Series games were real bad. Dream, you remember me probably like 7 or 8 years ago when we used to first interact on Twitter and how much I loved, I lived and breathed baseball. I don't know what's happened. I can't find the root cause or the explanation, but I just can't do it, man. I just don't know what it is. There's something about the game that I can't put my finger on it. I was going to say like it feels inauthentic. That's maybe not the best adjective, but like, I don't know. And honestly, even though Toronto's a small market team, relatively speaking, I don't like when the small market teams make it deep. Maybe it's because the Yankees and Red Sox haven't been like contenders. I hate those teams, but maybe that would give me more interest. I don't know. Hard for me to put my finger on it, Jeff. Hard
I
for
don't
me to
know,
put my
like
finger on it.
baseball to me, it's just like summer chills. I enjoy it. It's just background for the summer. Not,
You know what it is? I'm going to tell you exactly what happened in my life. I started golfing like 5 days a week, and I could give a shit about baseball in the summer. That's literally what happened. Now that you've put it that way, that's exactly what happened. I used to spend all summer at my computer screen, betting in the morning, waiting for lineups to come out, everything. Now I'm out on the course. And after I play the first 18 in the morning, if I played a good round, or even if I finished a shit round in a good way, I'm like, I got to get back out there for another 18. That's my summers now. Changed everything. Changed everything. Still money to be made on MLB props, of course. I don't question that. There's money to be made everywhere. Man, I went too hard on this chili. Oh, the chilies. It's tough. It's very tough. Very, very, very tough. Steven, listen. Nobody gives a shit about the Jays outside of Canada. This is why they get the playoff game in the dead middle of the afternoon that no one cares about.
I don't really call them small. Like their payroll isn't small market, but
No, it's not. They're never going to be like a primetime game type of team.
Yeah, they've never played Sunday night baseball literally like ever, I don't think.
So from that perspective, that's what I was kind of getting at. Ooh, all right,
Okay.
back in business.
There's some pretty nasty Kenny Pickett there.
Pickett's gonna have he's gonna have a pick tonight where he's overthrown a few too many balls tonight. He's overthrown a few too many.
Pickens was wide open.
I know.
Was that Johnson?
That was Pickens on the third down. That was Pickens on the third down. Yeah, he was wide open. Well, listen, I mean, Kenny Pickett is not the greatest starter in the league. We've established that. Every week, I kind of go through when I'm doing numbers on games. I kind of, once the number gets spit out, I kind of dig a little bit deeper into some of the games. And I like to look at how certain quarterbacks fare against certain types of coverage. And there's like a few in the league that it doesn't matter what the coverage is. They just suck across the board. Pickett was one of them. I looked at Zach Wilson today as well. I'm like, Zach Wilson does not excel against any type of coverage. Like some quarterbacks are bad, but you give them like a specific type of coverage and they can beat that. Like Sam Howell has a coverage he can beat. Like all the shit quarterbacks, Pickett, Wilson, across the board. They're just
who's actually pretty good against shit quarterbacks? Like he actually has some good, like his metrics are pretty good against shit quarterbacks.
Okay. Just
like take one guess. It's an easy guess.
His metrics are good against shit quarterbacks?
Yeah, like as a team.
I don't know what you're asking me. Is it a defensive player?
No, it's Brandon Staley.
Oh.
Against horrible quarterbacks.
Okay, now
he can confuse horrible quarterbacks. I mean that. He cannot do anything to good quarterbacks, though. Like last year, the Chargers got hot. It was all against like the shit quarterbacks, man.
The dredges of the NFL, like the absolute scum buckets. Yes.
Yeah, he's good. He can confuse a scum bucket, I guess, as you would call him. Yeah. Anyone who's worth anything, even a mid-tier guy that's overpaid, Staley struggles with. But the true like bottom tier of the league, he's actually been able to take care of.
There's a few head coaches in history that really fooled me, that I'm like ashamed when I look back on it now. Brandon Staley was definitely one of them, because that first year,
that's why I call him the monorail man.
Out of his ass, man. Like those YOLO fourth downs. The thing is, like in hindsight, he had no idea what he was even doing. He was just like, that's like he really had no clue. But that's
why I call him the monorail man. He came in like he said everything perfect. I drank that Kool-Aid like from the first moment. Like I had Chief Wiggum like dancing on the steps for this guy.
I was defending him on like Mike Lombardi's always the guy that's going off on these 4th down decisions only when they don't work. When they work, he's not saying anything. But he was going in. Staley's costing him games. Blah 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 blah. And I was the guy defending Staley. I look back in hindsight and I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking?
He's a loser.
But nothing will be ever worse than when Adam Gase fooled me coming into the league. I thought Adam Gase was going to be like the next Belichick.
And he had like the seal of approval from Peyton Manning. So like, oh man, this guy must be like pretty bright. Like he impresses Peyton Manning in the rooms.
Man, that guy by the end of it all was so fucking dumb. Honestly, did you see the Saban interview today?
Yeah.
The Saban one?
I was going to bring it up, Rob, but I figured you got way smarter guys coming on later in this game that like you were probably going to deep dive it with them, but you could do it in every quarter if you want.
It was just so hard to listen to.
Yeah.
It was painfully difficult to listen to. McAfee brought it up. I don't know why he used an example of 80-20, because pretty much if you have an 80% chance of converting any 4th down, you're always going to go for it. Always. Like no matter where you're on the field, if you have 80%, it makes like sense for you to go for it. But then to see oh my God, you know what? Serenity now.
Yeah.
Serenity now. Insanity
captain,
later.
Like him and how do you put it? Like his trajectory, like I could do an hour show on just talking about him. And like much respect doing what he did, get like insane, crazy 5 stars, only real compliments. It does seem now he's made it so big where like they're so like everyone is trying to bring him down now. Even there are people that apparently don't like inside the old guard in that ESPN building that like leak shit. Like, so he is fighting off everything. And the fact that he has to defend paying Aaron Rodgers, to me, like you could debate what Aaron Rodgers uses the time there to say, but Rob, you know how I worked at TSN Ray, like annoying part of my day was sending invoices to guys with like regular spots, having to send those up to the payroll people. Like, what do you think? Like the coach or the quarterback does that segment on the radio for free? Like no one's ever done that of that Rodgers tier or QB1 coach tier.
Let's reminisce for a second here, okay? Let's go back to 2009, 2010 when we're working at Hardcore Sports Radio together. Brian Hayes, who I love, gets let go, and I get thrust into, wow, great throw by Levis. 1st and 23, ripped it to Hopkins over the middle field. I get thrust into a producer role. I take over, and I have no idea that they're paying guests that are coming on the show for like regular spots. So I'm booking these guys nonstop. I'm running up like a massive tab. Do you remember who our NFL insider was that we would always use for TV shows? Do you remember?
Well, I know that I like started getting Florio for like 50 a hit. And
Bingo.
Then like he got huge and his number, like when like before Florio was huge, we were getting Florio and he was booking or canceling us because he was actually still a lawyer.
Yes.
He was still like he's hit like he got a bail, like court went long. Like we were working with Florio, the lawyer in West Virginia, not this guy who is today, Rob.
Whenever I see Florio tweet now, I'm like, this is not the guy that I talk to. Like, I don't know who this is. People evolve, but my God, I don't know. I used to talk to him like a couple times a week. We chat on the phone, like before, he called in for breaks for his hit. We talk, whatever. Completely normal guy. I don't know when he turned into like this clickbaiter. I guess money will change everything for anyone but like, God, is he terrible now? Terrible.
Right, Rob. On that note, I like that.
On that note, terrible. God, is he terrible?
No, I'm gonna.
That's all right.
I'm gonna leave you.
I know
here.
you got
We're booking. I convinced like Hayes or like this Florio guy, this website. Like this is a good thing, and
Yeah.
Then he went from like 50 to 500 a hit, probably.
Yeah. It was he stopped doing hits because we didn't pay him. That's the real answer.
Yeah, well,
but,
we weren't going to pay the new number anyway.
no,
So
that was never going to happen.
We probably lied in that fashion. We're like, well, since we're like, we can like lie to him for like 6 weeks before he actually realizes.
Dude, I didn't know we were actually paying this guy. I was so lazy as a producer. Our hosts loved him. So I'm like, I'm just going to keep booking Florio, whatever. And then after a while, he's like, you guys owe me like $1,500. I don't think I'm going to do the show today until I get that check. I was like, what the fuck?
Later, Rob.
Later, Geoff. Take care, man. Oh, man. Mike Florio. I don't want to call him a hack. He was a great guy for a long time. Our next guest, definitely a hack. Without a doubt. Maybe not Florio-esque. The whale capper. Drew, what's going on?
Us NBC guys, birds of a feather. Me and Florio, just a couple of chumps who are, just spinning bullshit for clicks. You know how it goes.
Yeah, listen, I was just like reminiscing. I knew Florio back in like 2009, 2010. We used to book him for shows when I used to work at the Score, and he was like
unbelievable story.
Like, yeah, just like completely different. That like I cannot believe that it's. When I watch Mike Florio on TV or see the tweets or whatever, I cannot believe that it's him. I cannot. Absolutely not. But where are you at right now?
I'm in the Oakland airport and streaming on my computer because no bar here has Amazon Prime, apparently. And so no one gets to watch this gem of a game. Flying back home, going to the Breeders' Cup this weekend, which is in my backyard. So super fired up. And great to be on with you, man. How you been?
I've been good. I mean, this game already has 9 flags in the first quarter. That's 9 accepted penalties. I think there's actually been 11 or 12 flags thrown. So it's one of those so far. I don't blame them for not airing it in the airport. Let's put it that way.
You know what's kind of weird? I have a couple of conspiracy theories to run by you on this stream, just to kind of get a sense of what you think about things. I'm sweating some college football tonight. I don't have any skin in this game really.
What college are you sweating? Because I have a couple going on as well.
Yeah, Wake money line in the 400 range, and Troy -4.
We're on the same
ones.
Yeah.
The good ones. Freaking. You know what? And you get. Oh, hey, thanks, man. Cheers, appreciate it. In honor of being on with an Italian, I got the Montepulciano. I got the Montepulciano di Brugio. This is from the Umami Ranchi. I don't know if you know them, but I'm sure you guys. You probably have some family stories. I'm sure.
You know what? I'll tell you this: pro move, glass of red wine before you get on the plane. Eases the nerves, relaxes you. You can have, you can doze off. That is absolutely not only a class move, but a pro move as well.
I love it. But no, there's been a kind of a growing sense of watching this terrible Thursday night product that I have felt like I don't think that the refs really are ever incentivized to do anything for the most part. But these Thursday games have felt like there's been a little bit of an effort to try to tip the scales to make the game a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more interesting. Like, think back to the final drive where the Buccaneers scored a touchdown last week.
Yep.
That 15-play monstrosity. It was the average success rate of almost every set of downs they had. You would have thought put it at like maybe 30% they're going to convert this. They got 2 very gifted penalties on that drive. One that was like an actual penalty, the face mask. Did they convert 3 4th downs? I lost track at some point. But it was like that was the most absurd, should not have ever even been a sweat type of deal. And they felt like there was a little bit of a let's make some drama here at the end. And like Amazon paid an absolute truckload of money to air these games, and no one watches them. And so I wouldn't be shocked if there was a little bit of an effort of, if you're gonna make a judgment call, like err on the side of an entertaining game. We wouldn't be that upset about that. Is that crazy? Am I word? Is this conspiracy wine well, or is this real?
It's not like 10 out of 10 conspiracy like Paul McCartney died and got replaced by an imposter type of situation there, but it's a little tinfoil hatty, out there. I think it's probably most likely just circumstantial if I had to guess, but I wouldn't say it's completely out of the realm of possibility. The thing that gets me, Drew, is you're right. Like, Amazon paid a ton for these games, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
if you're the NFL, schedule some fucking good games in prime time, like, and figure out some way to do flex schedule. If you're gonna have Thursday games and Monday games, figure out some way to do flex scheduling for those, even if it's a month in advance, something. But some of these games on Thursday, like, there's more people watching this stream than are watching these games sometimes, or the equivalent amount. Like, there's no one. There's so much sports happening now, NBA, NHL, what World Series just finished, and it's like they're not drawing the attention. I do have to point out as well, Barry Horse on Wake Forest second half. The Sir Horse.
So this is where I was going to go next. So you get a little bit of the early news that Duke's going to be down to a quarterback who may not be worth being on a college football field, and your initial reaction is, okay, well, I know something the books don't. I'm just going to jam, right? But Wake Forest money line jam. What's money line under parlay jam? What else do I have that I think is an advantage play? Parlay that with the make money line, right? Like that's kind of the initial thinking. And then the next thing you do is you're like, well, if Duke knows they're down to their third quarterback, they're going to probably do a pretty run-heavy scheme here.
Yep.
Can Wake defend the run? And then after you've jammed, you flip open the EPA per play defense for Wake, and you're like, oh shit. like these guys suck. Like, I don't know if Wake's good or not. Like, I don't deserve to be jamming this, but it closes massive EV, and now you just sit here and sweat and hope that somehow, some way, Wake Forest Demon Deacons defense comes up with a stop at some point. But college football is the worst.
Well, we're in it, man. Listen, we got good prices. We're tied at the half. We've done what we can do. Now we hope it wins. Honestly, of all the flags they didn't throw tonight, I'm not sure how they did. Like, they've thrown a million. They could have thrown one very easily here on DeAndre Hopkins down the sideline, but he tried to sell it a little bit more, maybe. He tried to sell it a little bit more.
Do you have any skin in this one?
Yeah, I like to win every bet. Obviously, that's why we bet. I have the Steelers, but not much. Like, really a small bet. So.
Okay. I think that's the right side. That scripted drive was pretty good.
That scripted drive was good. Matt Canada on the sidelines, man. Man.
I forget, is this the second game out of the bye for the Steelers?
They lost to the Jags last week. They got smoked.
Right. I, by the way, listened to your pod with Dr. E.
Yep.
It was outstanding, as always.
I appreciate that. Not me.
Got the gears turning in a million different directions, but I don't really have a good explanation for why a lot of these teams are coming off a bye falling flat. But it was interesting to hear his kind of insight on, they're doing their self-scouting during the bye week, right?
Yep.
And so you probably maybe, you don't really have enough time in the week out of the bye to really kind of do what you maybe ultimately would like to do after your self-scouting is over.
Yep.
And if you do try too hard to change yourself too much in that first week while your guys are on the fly, it might not work. But then week 2 feels like whatever advantage you may have gleaned from your self-scouting, maybe it actually shows up. And I'm hopeful that happens with the Pittsburgh Steelers team, because I would like the Steelers to be more entertaining down the stretch here, because the only good games really left on the schedule are AFC North head-to-heads. And if the Steelers aren't very good, and if the Browns don't have a quarterback, then that kind of goes out the window. The primetime schedule, man, after this week, it gets super sketch. We got 2 Sunday nights that are just unwatchable garbage.
I know. It's tough, man. I looked at the primetime schedule about 4 weeks ago, and I'm like, how did I commit to doing these? I made the decision to doing the watch-alongs, because obviously I want to grow the content or whatever. But I was like, man, I really should have looked at some of these games before I committed to doing all of this stuff. And now I look, and it's gotten worse since the first look I had. I'm like, oh, all these teams are even worse now. Yeah, that was
a bad drop.
It was. That should have been a.
He should have caught that.
Catch Pickens. It hit him. I mean, it was good coverage, but it
was that Austin or hit Pickens?
That was Pickens.
Pickens. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
you might be ahead of me. You might be ahead of me, Drew. You saw the third down. That was Austin. And third down was Austin.
Yeah, he hit him in the hands. He should have got that. I mean, it was well defended, but Austin, for what it's worth, the numbers on him suggest he shouldn't be out there. I don't think he's got it, at least not yet. I don't know. Didn't put enough plays on film of passes to Austin to self-scout that out of the playbook, I guess. Anyway.
People, I mean, Pickett made the right throw there. It was one-on-one. He should have led him a little bit more than he did, I think. But ultimately, he made the right throw, I think.
So no, I mean, we're about to go into the dog days of the season here. After this amazing Sunday night football matchup of Bills Bengals. I forget. Did you land on anything there?
I kind of like the Bengals. We just we thought that there has been a lot of back and forth in market on this game because Right Angle Sports, obviously, with the Bengals release, that kind of killed a little bit. But I thought that this was going to draw a lot of Bills money and we could get a better price. And now I'm just kind of waiting, I guess. But I like the Bengals in the game.
Yeah, we agree. It's a soft conclusion. And this is a funny week because you have 4 super high profile games that matter a shit ton. And so much that's just absolutely like, I don't really even feel like thinking about this game, let alone really, really handicapping it.
Right.
And so you inevitably, moth to flame, kind of end up on the high leverage games, like spending the most time on those. And they're probably pretty close to fair, but you talk yourself into something anyway, because these matter. And I can't really I'm preseason NFC East Cowboys backer because I thought it was just a coin flippy kind of deal.
Yep.
And so there's some incentive to just stay off this game, just let that ride. But I couldn't help it. I played Cowboys. That's like one of my favorite looks of the week. And same thing with like Bengals Bills. Like there's plenty of game states I can imagine where the Bills win comfortably.
Yep.
and I feel like an idiot here. But I like the game state potential of Bengals being able to bully the Bills in the second half here enough that I think like if things break in the first half for the Bengals and they take a lead into halftime, I think they probably win. And if they don't, the Bills are leaving the door open for everyone, even Tyrod Taylor, Mac. Excuse me. That's a slight to Tyrod Taylor. Even Mac Jones. He's the lowest rung on the totem pole who's gotten some late scores in on the Bills. So I think as long as it's not a Bills runaway and hide, I think the Bengals absolutely are alive. And there's a big chunk of game state where Bengals have a lead and put it away, I think. So that was kind of where I landed on Sunday Night Football, but fired up for that game.
I mean, I bet the Bengals last week. I felt pretty confidently that we would see a very different Bengals team post-bye. I don't think any of the data for the Bengals pre-bye even matters, honestly. None of it. I just think that you might as well just go back to what the Bengals were last year, use that as your prior, and forget about everything else. And to me, the Bills they're worse now. I mean, both offensively and defensively, they just haven't been anywhere near as consistent, especially defensively. Bengals played the Bills a couple times last year. They just moved the ball on them at will. Obviously, the DeMar Hamlin game didn't finish, but they up and down the field, no issue. So I think a lot of times, Drew, people get obsessed with the look ahead number on the game, and whenever there's been a big correction from week to week, a lot of people just tend to side and there's an overreaction to last week. But it's I just didn't like that look ahead.
Give me the opposite here. The preseason look ahead was Cincy -1, and the Bills have lost their most important player at every level on defense.
Yep.
Why is it still even in the ballpark? Honestly,
great argument. Exactly. If you go back to
yeah.
the preseason power rankings of the teams, it was basically Bills slightly better than Cincinnati, and the Bills have had all this erosion on defense. I used erosion because of the geology background. For
Of course,
you.
obviously, yes.
I had to fit that in somewhere. But
yeah, well done. I was doing geology all day today. My hands are nice and dirty, so that was a great call by you.
Showtime in the chat wants to know any midseason award opinions from Drew. You're the futures guy, like in the space. You keep
Does Showtime I guess let me ask you, Rob, what's more entertaining for a listener, like predicting what will happen or what bets in the market I think are value?
Bets in the market. Believe me, the nails that are in here tonight watching, they care about bets and bets only.
My favorite absurd long shot that I think has legs is Roquan Smith DPOY. I think if you look at the numbers of the Ravens defense since they traded for Roquan Smith, they're like number one in the NFL with the bullet by EPA, by DVOA. It doesn't matter what metric you look at. And I think this 3-horse race that is kind of built up by just the chaos plays that TJ Watt and Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons are kind of known for, like, it's definitely possible that the Browns and the Steelers are non-factors in December, right?
Yep.
And it's possible in my mind that Micah Parsons, because he is kind of has split responsibilities and because he tends to get double teamed at an absurd rate, like he might just not get the counting stats that backstop his case. And so people might look at the advanced numbers at the end of the season and be like, wow, Ravens are so clearly the best defense. We got to pick a Raven. And then you look at the tackle numbers, you look at just sort of, who matters the most for that defense. I think it's pretty obvious. So 100-1, I think, was the best number I got on that. And I think I don't dismiss the fact that the 3 guys at the top deserve to be there. But I do kind of object to it being truly a 3-horse race just because I think the Ravens could be the number 1 team defense DVOA when it's dust settles.
You know what? I don't hate it. Honestly, I don't hate it. Bung Magoo says, what a find. He's a big fan as well. I'll tell you right now, if there's a market open on this right now, the Nails are betting it. They are betting it. This was a fucking great throw by Will Levis, man. He hung in the pocket. He was under duress, found Westbrook Akine open downfield.
I think we're figuring out how to categorize Will Levis after this first couple games. Like, he's got the big time arm. He's got unbelievable guts.
Yep.
But he also looks like he will certainly find a way to get hurt.
Yes. So one thing that's really interesting is in 2 of the last 3 plays, they've lost both of their guards. Peter Skoronski just walked off the field right now, but a couple plays ago, Daniel Brunskill was down on the field as well. Remember, their right tackle, Chris Hubbard, is out. So right now, they're going to be on this snap without 3 of their starting 5 offensive linemen. For anyone that's in the
it's a non-successful run. Surprise, surprise.
Yep.
I will also say that, like, Levis, if I was team building around him, I'd be excited because you have somebody that you can probably teach to be less risk forward about getting hit, right?
Yep.
And you have someone that if you put like a good separator in this, somebody with good separation in this wide receiver room, like, bombs away, like, let it rip. You don't have to immediately address your offensive line, which is bottom 5 NFL. I think Levis is capable of operating under extreme duress, as at least the handful of plays we've seen, he's willing to operate. You just need to find a way to get him to process a little bit more quickly when it's really going bad, and get somebody with speed who can separate.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, he's clearly got the arm. That's not a question. You've seen him make some, like, even last week, the mechanics sometimes are not there. He throws off his back foot, but he actually has enough of an arm to like beat defenses sometimes. Brunskill's back in the game right now, so that's one of the 3. We'll see if Skoronski comes back in as well. But that'll be pretty important, obviously, against this Steelers defensive front.
This Duke quarterback, by the way,
Yep.
absolutely atrocious. I mean, if the fact this guy needs to be on the Tyson Badgett two air yards per attempt type of plan. Like this is something else. Hey, if they convert this 3rd and 8, I'm gonna start having indigestion.
We got our Troy touchdown before the half, so we're up 7
really
there.
Nice.
That was all right. Second half coming for Barry Horse now as well, and I'll be interested to see what that one.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say it's probably Troy. I don't know. I mean, you know, you also run the risk when you have this surprise quarterback early news of the team that is going backup knows they were going with the backup, and the other team was planning for another guy, right? Like again, one of my favorite parts of the conversation you had with Eric was sort of the under the water discussion or thoughts about like tendency breakers and like understanding your opponent's tendencies, understanding your own tendencies, understanding, like how to kind of continue to evolve your approach and surprise people. Well, there's definitely been opportunities or times when a team in college football is just drawing absolutely dead on offense. And the first drive, they'll go out and score a touchdown. And you're like, what the hell? Like, what? And it's like, well, they knew they were drawing dead. And so they used in that first drive, they scripted and they practiced every absurd, ridiculous, non-repeatable type of play they could think of. And it worked. And they scored a touchdown. Good job. And then the rest of the game is literally just absolute fucking zeros. Excuse my language. I don't know if this is.
Yeah. We're all good as long as it's not in the first. Okay. We run a countdown at the beginning of the stream for because we can't cuss in the first 30 seconds for YouTube policy, but then after that we're good.
That's the policy.
Yeah, it's the first 30 seconds of the video.
You learn
Barry
something
Horse, Troy second half for Sir Horse. Not a surprise there at all.
Another conspiracy theory I want to run by you.
Okay.
Barry, one of my favorite individuals in the betting space, period. Like, guy's absolutely true blue. One of the bigger bettors, probably the guy, I guess I would probably, if you were like, who's an advantage player that you think is their one unit bet is the biggest, probably would look towards him because just knowing a little bit about his history of getting down. And I worry a little bit about sometimes when he has really, really hot stuff that the people on the other side are incentivized to actually fix the games. Do you think I'm crazy?
I think you're crazy.
Like the money is so the swing is so significant that there actually is there is a break-even point that is in favor of getting an umpire or a coach or some random walk-on receiver running back to influence the result.
It's possible. So Derrick Henry's in here. I'm going to comment on yours in a second here. Did he extend it? Yeah, he's in. He's in for a touchdown. That's good. They had him dead to rights, and he was still able to break that. So without divulging too much information about Sir Horse here, when he was working with the group that he previously was working with, those fill amounts were enormous. So I could possibly have seen that at that time because they were asking every mover to get down for them, like everyone.
Sure.
So maybe Barry,
and there was potentially at the very end of the line who is paying when you're winning is probably Mafia.
Yeah.
A specific group in New York, I think.
Yeah. It's again, conspiracy rating 3.5 out of 10 is where I'm going to go with it. Plausible, not likely, but I can see it.
Okay. There was a tiny sample I had of his baseball stuff that was like just so absolutely improbable. Like the way it actually like we're talking like Z-score -3 or 4 type of stuff, where it's like This is either the worst luck that has ever been observed in the betting space, and it happens to coincide with you doing this enormous scaling up, or whoever is on the other side of this had influence. And I don't think it's crazy, but all right, I'll take 3.5 out of 10. That's fine.
Yeah, it's not it's not crazy. It's not crazy, but it's, you know, I'm not turning around afterwards and be like, can you believe what Drew pitched as no, it's I can see it. There's arguments for it.
I mean, there is a break-even point where if you are scaling up to the tune of you're betting a professional athlete's year-long salary and a given outcome, like now the idea of influencing things through paying is not actually that crazy, right?
I'm with you.
It's not there's crazy. A break-even point. It's a break-even point, and I don't want to find out the wrong way, the hard way, that where that line is, because being on the hook on the wrong end of that is probably bad news. But anyway.
I probably have like the vast majority of those plays from the last 2 or 3 years where, like, if I had nothing to do, I could lock myself in a bunker and watch like every single one of those games and be like, but
sure,
no one's gonna do that.
Okay,
no one's gonna do that.
Okay, all right, good to know. I'll cool off my jets.
The real question is, whose unit size is bigger, Drew or Andy?
Apparently, Will Newell does not follow Mr. Link Calhoun, who likes to post the picture of Andy ziplining on Twitter, where he either is smuggling a 6-pack of tube socks for some reason in his shorts, or he is just an extremely well-endowed man. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Andy probably wins not by margin, but wins. Yeah,
sure. I think he was actually just referring to the bet size and not the actual size of the penis. Is
what
I
okay,
thought.
Okay.
Not the full package.
Andy is people probably under what's the right word? People I think people underappreciate how truly sharp an advantage player kind of at his core he is.
Yep.
And I think people would probably be, people would be surprised at, how much he bets and what he bets. And I don't actually want to know some of the stuff because he's like, he does a lot. He does a lot of live soccer stuff. He does a lot of golf. His year over year, his year-long turnover relative to me, we're probably really close, actually, right. Now that I think about it. In NFL sides, flatly, I probably bet him, but I think that's because at his heart, he's an advantage player, and he's like, the NFL is probably not going to, he knows it's a labor of love. It's not a juicy squeeze,
Right.
That's my guess.
I just saw something on the broadcast, which someone might have to explain to me. But Nicholas Petit-Frere is injured for the Titans. His return is questionable. And Sean Murphy Bunting is injured for the Titans. His return is strong questionable. What does strong questionable entail? Does that mean like he's more questionable, or he's like I don't know what that means.
NBA teams have started doing this too. Have you seen the recent very questionables?
No.
Very questionable has become a distinction.
But like, what is this, Drew? Like, questionable is supposed to imply like close to 50-50. So very questionable means closer to 50-50, or does that mean like he's closer to doubtful?
I'm going to say 70. If doubtful is 75-25, which I don't think it is. I think doubtful is more like 90, right?
Yeah,
I think very questionable probably means 75-25 in my mind. Or what did you say? Was it extremely questionable or seriously questionable?
It said strong questionable.
Strong questionable.
Not strong.
That's probably like 6. That's probably strong. Like 60. That's probably like 60 to 65. Strong. He's a strong questionable. That's like 60. Strongly would be 65. Very questionable is 75. And then doubtful is like 90.
Right. Well, listen, I'm all for like having more precise percentages, more probabilities going for us. Nick Saban isn't, but I am. That's for sure.
There's been some injuries for both defenses so far, right?
Cole Holcomb. Who did I see?
Holcomb,
that
I think he got carted out. He got
Yeah.
carted off, so I'd
Yeah.
be real surprised if he's back.
Yeah,
It
Holcomb
feels like
definitely
so far the refs are calling a little bit of an offensive friendly game. Is that? Would you agree with that?
There's been a lot of defensive penalties in this game. There's a roughing the passer right here, which
So that's an offensive friendly call if I've seen one. And giving him 15 yards on that's
got to get scored and back up somehow.
I guess what I'm getting at is this opening the door for a second half over with the defensive injuries and the way they're calling the game?
Yeah, it depends on the number, right? It always depends on the number. It has been like a lot of questionable defensive penalties so far. That's horrible. Like, I get it. Like, Pickett's coming in with an injury. It's a hard hit, but like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, if you feel like you need to protect Kenny Pickett because he's the future of the NFL, then we got a bigger problem.
Yeah. Did you move to the airport nightclub now?
Is that coming through the sound?
It's like some heavy bass coming through there. Dude,
Oakland gets down. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Dude, this is Oakland is the town. We get down in the town, man.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I think actually Oakland was the birthplace of a lot of the funk soul. I believe just down the street. What's the guy that has like the crazy whole get up in the whole band that plays funk? I'm drawing a blank. He's old,
old get up in the.
He's got the whole get up and the full band.
Someone in the chat definitely knows.
Definitely
someone in the chat will definitely know.
Funk.
I just need Kyle Joubert in the chat to know that I've seen his comments. Cannot pull them up on the screen, but found them extremely hilarious, and he can keep them coming. He can keep them coming. No, it's not MC Hammer. It's definitely not MC Hammer.
No. George Clinton. It's George Clinton.
George Clinton and the Funkadelics.
George. Thank you.
This is not my area of funk is not my area of expertise, unfortunately. It's
I was doubly wrong because not only is George Clinton from North Carolina, but I don't can't come up with any connections to the Bay Area. Well, there you go.
Yeah. No, that's it. In regards to locking myself in a bunker to watch all of those plays, we can never forget that Tweety watched every single baseball game one year, if you recall. Yeah. Every pitch of every inning of every game might have been the exact tweet. I can't remember, but that was one of the more legendary Twitter tweets of all time.
You want some free ideas for the Hammer Network? We need this can be off season. Or we can start tomorrow. I would listen. We need just like a history of gambling Twitter, like story time, right? Like the history, like some history stuff. Like, who is Tweety Dimes? Why is he funny? What is he doing right now? But you have some people make a market. He's blank or blank, and then actually find out. And there's something there. And there's people with some wild stories, and there's no record of some of the most absurd stuff that happened between like 2014 and 2018, which shouldn't be lost to history, in my opinion.
I agree with you. So I mentioned this on Circles Off one time and I just never followed up on it, but I did want to do an episode with some gambling Twitter OGs, guys that I know were there for some of these stories that could be a part of that. I think that would be great. Tweety Dimes, I know his story. He's now, he basically partnered up with someone who was a big believer in numerology and went down a bad path and actually got screwed out of his own Tweety Dimes account. And he now is on Twitter as Bet Lab Analytics, which I find hilarious.
No way.
Yes, because he uses Bet Labs, which was the Fantasy Labs product to create all these systems, and analytics. So the Bet Lab Analytics is actually Tweety Dimes now. Yes, but Tweety, an absolute legend. I also, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, Drew, I was just telling stories about carbon bets one night. Do you remember carbon bets?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
David Purdom. Is David Purdom? Is he asked a question for him? Is he really a guitar? That was one of the best.
I forgot about that.
Asked David. It's like, we're doing an interview with David Purdom. Does anyone have questions? And he asked, is he really a guitar? That was outstanding. But his account got killed on Trump election night because he pretended to be CNN politics.
Yeah. Okay. So this was what
Yes.
I was telling. This is a story I was telling. He was an impersonator. What I will never forget was he used to impersonate me all the time. Create like a Rob Pizzola, like OIA account, and just respond to people. And I'll never forget. He kept following and unfollowing. What's her name? The Spin Zone, Lauren Jaffe or whatever.
With your fake account.
With my fake account.
To make her think you were like weirdly like online stalking.
And she messaged me on the side to my real account. And is like, what's your problem? Like, she had a software attached to her Twitter that told her whenever someone unfollowed her. So she got this full list, and I swear I've never talked to that girl again. That was like 6 or 7 years ago. But she was like basically tweeted me like, "What the fuck?" And that was a classic carbon bet.
That's one of the most niche pranks I've ever heard of, and it is hysterical. Holy crap!
I used to love when he did stuff like that. I honestly did.
Oh my god!
But he did
the
push.
CNN politics one was wild because he was basically the only person on earth that was like, yeah, Trump's going to win.
He was reporting
Trump. Ultimately was right. He was right. It was wild. That was absolutely insane.
I'm pretty sure that was just like a French Canadian guy. I think he lived in Montreal or Quebec or something.
That guy was freaking 180, 150 IQ, whatever. He was fucking genius. Very, very funny.
He's definitely, here's the thing. He's definitely on gambling Twitter still, right? Like he has to be. He's got to be something.
You would think, yeah.
Who just disappears like that? Never came back?
I mean, I don't know, man. It was his pranks and his tomfoolery was like all-time great. Hopefully he's just and enjoying this storytelling because I appreciate him.
I would say it's a long shot, but there's like a plus 2,000 that he's in this chat right now.
Incredible.
Plus 2,000. I mean,
incredible.
Thrill Barton disappeared, but Thrill Barton, he held up his end of the bargain. That was Jimmy.
He was murdered. Yeah, he was murdered.
Yeah.
I mean that happens. Yeah.
Kenny Pickett skipped this one on 3rd and goal. I think he had Allen Robinson there. I think he had him.
We got a big set of downs here for the Demon Deacons.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. This is like make the season type of win if Wake wins outright.
Man.
Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah. It does. When you have, what was it, 4-1, plus 350, like that range, like when it's that kind of upside, like you're still gambling because different people will tell you, yeah, it should still be like around a pick 'em, but those bets come along once a year, like it's just you need a little luck to actually get them home, but yeah, that'll be, I'm gonna have to stop watching if they score a touchdown. I'll just pretend like it's all gonna go great and turn it off.
One of those.
Yeah.
People in the stream, really quickly, Drew. We're at 98 likes in the stream. Drew's drinking a glass of wine at the airport. Show some love. At least like the stream for the whale capper, Drew Dinsick over here. Let's get it up.
Yeah. Let me go through some more awards thoughts and get your takes.
Okay. Let's do it.
I am bare naked Mahomes MVP. If anyone else wins, I will take a loss.
I have some very good prices on Jared Goff and Joe Burrow to win MVP.
Okay. I dig that. I have I like as a long shot if you can still get in. Like, I don't know what the current price is, but a couple weeks ago I bet Chase OPOY because I thought he was the only guy that could run down Tyreek. And honestly, like, it's a award like that. It's how you finish. It's not how you start. And as amazing as Tyreek is, and he may just ultimately like have done enough to separate himself. He probably has done enough to separate himself, but he'll just win. I think there's a world where Chase finishes strong with some high profile games and can steal. I bet that at like 20-1, I think.
Yep.
If you can find 10-1 or better, I think that's worth a flyer. Although AJ Brown clearly put himself in the conversation. I just don't believe in. I think Philly. And I don't mean to get, I know you have an actual affinity for the Cowboys, but if this isn't like the clear, obvious sell high on the Eagles moment in this season, I don't know what it is. Like, this looks like like the Eagles defense is market rated. Look at Unpredictable. What is it? Unpredictable. Look, they're like the defense is saying that's the 6th best defense in the NFL. Pff, bullshit. They're saying that they're like a top 5 offense. No way. Like, they're solvable on offense. I think they actually fit poorly with what Dallas likes to do. And I think Hurts is, he's one more hit away from missing some time. Like, guys limping to finish every game. His mobility is pretty clearly no longer part of the equation in terms of, his effectiveness as a quarterback. And, maybe it's right through the season. Maybe he comes out of the bye week and he lights the world on fire, but I kind of want to pay to see it. And the Eagles, the other reason I think that now is the time is if you look at their schedule, like they're about to go to schedule hell. Like, it starts, starts Sunday. They're going to schedule hell and it starts Sunday. And like, if they lose 4 games in the next 6 weeks, like, are they winning any awards? Probably not. Right. Like, it kind of doesn't matter how good the offense does. I think you can, the other side of the coin is if they exceed expectations and win all those games and they run away with the 1 seed and they win every award. But, I think they're a hair overrated by market right now. And this is sell high.
For those who don't realize, when Drew says they're going to schedule hell, I was looking at this earlier today, but they play the Chiefs, Bills, 49ers, Cowboys, Seahawks, 5 games in a row against arguably top 10 teams in the NFL in the next 5 weeks. I mean, Cowboys, so 6 and 10 weeks. It's pretty nuts, man. Like, this is. And
then look at Cowboys at Seattle back to back. Brutal travel.
Yep. Oh, good point. Good point as well.
Yeah. I mean, they could very well take 4 or 5 losses before we get to Christmas, and I won't be floored at all. So I think if you have Eagles anything, think about it because I would sell. So the other awards thoughts, Chase OPOY, long shot on Roquan DPOY. Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'm not convinced it's going to be Stroud when it's all said and done, but I don't have the testicular fortitude to back any of the other quarterbacks right now. Certainly not Bryce Young. I'm out on that. I know that people took big old prices on him. All right, I guess. Good luck. I don't know who wins OPOY. DPOY is a really, really fun one because Witherspoon probably deserves it more than Carter, but Carter put up so many impressive numbers early that he's like got favorite status. So I don't mind going against Carter there. Plus, Carter's been banged up lately. Like, he hasn't been as effective recently. He came out of the game against the Commanders, didn't come back in, but he's going to be fine. Like, he's practicing. He's going to be fine. He's going to play against the Cowboys, but he doesn't look like he has quite the same explosiveness. And if we believe what we heard about him pre-draft, he's not a guy you can absolutely count on to do everything he can to get back on the field. He cemented the fact that he was deserving of where he got picked, and I don't know what else incentivizes him to, keep crushing this year. So I like Witherspoon at any kind of plus number for DROI. Coach of the Year, you got to read.
I like McDaniel right now, Coach of the Year, but I could see potentially him getting, like, if Tyreek Hill wins Offensive Player of the Year or Tua possibly MVP, I could see McDaniel getting the shaft potentially.
Interesting. Do you think he's more well liked by the fans than he is by the voters?
That's a good question. And the answer is probably yes.
Okay. Okay.
Dude, I got to tell you, sorry, Drew, before you get into this, man, this Will Levis drive is extremely impressive, man. Like, I thought they were going to run out the clock after that first down play, and he is just making throw after throw here.
Yeah. Wake Forest touchdown. Extra point.
There you go.
Good.
There you go.
I don't think we're going to get any Troy points on this drive, but we may get a field goal attempt, I guess. Yeah, Will Levis has got the goods, man. Was that Joey Porter Jr. flexing? Hopkins is an interesting case because I'm not exactly sure how you play rate him right now. I think he's definitely still a plus receiver, but like there's certain stuff he just can't do anymore. Like that was a wild. That was a wild replay.
I love this. Levis hopped up on coffee and mayo. You ever had coffee with mayo before, Drew?
No. Not a big mayo guy.
No. Just on like some sandwiches and stuff.
I drink a decent amount of coffee. Oh no. That should have been so easy. The receiver turned around way too early. He got geeked up at how open he was. Oh, bummer. That was a touchdown for Levis.
That was Spears.
Spears was too excited. He's like, I'm super open. I'm going to turn around. The ball might be here.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Levis has to make the throws. They've had guys running open, but it's still like impressive that he's made the throws. Man, Patrick Peterson he's in rough shape.
Yeah, I'm a black coffee guy through and through. We're an espresso house, so I like the smaller format, higher caffeine version with the little foam on top, but not like the milk foam. Mayo has never ever been a factor for me with coffee.
Oh my God, these guys ran the fucking draw on 3rd and 10. Are you kidding me?
Terrible.
This guy marched his way all the way down the field, and they ran a fucking draw on 3rd and 10. Unbelievable.
Hey man, more important to go into the lead with the half because points are free. This field goal is definitely going through.
There's never been a blocked or missed field goal in Pittsburgh.
Never.
Before. It's never happened at this stadium ever. Never seen it. That's a joke, man.
The important thing is if it does happen now, at least Mike Vrabel will learn a valuable lesson.
The thing, like Levis actually just went over to Tim Kelly on the sideline, and he's like talking to him about it, and he's like, "What?
What
the fuck was that?" Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, dap me up. That was a great drive. What happened?"
Yeah.
On the end there. What happened?
Unreal, man. Unreal. Cannot believe that they did that.
Yeah, take a shot. Take that. All right. Well, they made the field goal at least. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Halftime.
I'll let you go.
All right.
Enjoy.
Say hi to Andy.
Best of luck the rest of the game. Will do. And I'll say hi to Andy in person tomorrow as we are off to the races.
There you go.
He's in LA. I'm about to head there myself. And I'll check you later, man.
Enjoy the breeders. Safe travels, Drew. Drew Dinsick.
All right. Best of luck.
Everyone. Whale capper. Good dude. That was good. That was fun. Drew's got a lot of opinions on NFL. Tell you that. 13-10 at the half for the Tennessee Titans. We'll bring up Pinnacle second half odds when they are posted here very shortly. I started this game by really wanting to bet more on Pittsburgh, and I'm getting more and more impressed with Levis as the game goes on. Because a lot of the talk was last week was, did it at home against Atlanta. Can you do it on the road at Pittsburgh? I think that's fair to question that because we've seen this a lot of times before where a rookie quarterback, Tyson Bagent a couple weeks ago, right? At home, goes out on the road, lays an egg. But Levis looks good. Tennessee injuries in the first half. I think Skoronski and Brunskill both came back into the game. So from that point of view, good. Sean Murphy-Bunting's still out, hasn't played a snap since. So maybe that strong questionable for Sean Murphy-Bunting just meant out or doubtful. Why don't they just use whatever? Strong questionable. Pittsburgh Steelers, first half. Just want to see who came back in the game. So Montravius Adams, their nose tackle, ended up getting hurt. Cole Holcomb carded off. So there's some injuries on the Steelers defense because you can't make Minkah Fitzpatrick as well, not playing. But what the fuck is this, Drew? Butter in my coffee? No. Mayo supposedly has similar properties with the higher. Drew, you're here for all the streams. Drew Furstenberger from Frankfurt, I would imagine. Somewhere around there. We're not going to defend mayo in the coffee. We're not going to defend butter in the coffee. In fact, butter in the coffee might be even worse. Could anything have higher fat content than butter? I listen, maybe don't knock it till you try it. I tried the cheddar cheese apple pie, people. I tried it. Now I can knock it because I tried it and it wasn't any better. In fact, it was kind of weird. I could see it. What is this chat? What is happening here? How many of you have put butter in your coffee outside of Nathan and Drew? Please don't tell me this is. Please do not tell me. You know what? Here's the thing. Okay. It's a good point. I don't use cream in my coffee. I actually find cream like 10%. I find that to be too much. I either drink black or a little bit of milk, like a 2% milk. But I got to draw the line somewhere. We have to draw the line somewhere, people. This is insane. This is insane. Butter in the coffee, mayo in the coffee. We need to pull the plug on this shit. We need to pull the plug on this shit. Missed some questions before. What's a guy got to do to get a dope Pinnacle hoodie? Well, right now, no announcement. These things are very selective. There's only a select few individuals that can get the Pinnacle hoodie. But down the road, there's going to be opportunities. Stay tuned. Watch the content. It's probably the best thing I can tell you. Watch the content. You'll have an opportunity down the road. Rob, you have a favorite Circles Off episode? Mine's probably Barry Horse. Zach, you got a favorite episode? I know what my favorite episode is. It's probably not like everyone's favorite episode, but I know what mine is.
I think my favorite was Trent Hill.
Yep.
Actually, you know what? The one that was the most interesting to me, like that I was able to kind of just like sit back and be amazed by everything, was the Barry Horse one, first and foremost. The second is Trent Hill. That's number 2 for me. And then I'm not gonna lie, the one that I was really liked doing was the shipper one. And it was because like didn't have a face to a name, didn't know who he was, and just based on Twitter, like I thought the guy was just a complete scumbag. Obviously, knew he was a great bettor. Like that was not in question. It was just like, oh, this guy's just an asshole. And then it was like, okay, like get to listen to him and hear that side. It kind of just gives you a different perspective. Doesn't mean he's not a scumbag on Twitter. He still definitely is. I'm not gonna pull back that statement, but like you just get a different light of the person, and I kind of just had a different takeaway, and I liked him after. So yeah, that was. All right. I think those are my 3.
Trent Hill is probably going to be like, yeah, any new follower should go back to that one. Okay, I'll give like my favorite ones are probably, I have 3 that come to mind that I really like. One was Call Customer Service. Josh. That was, now I've known Josh for a long time. I just think he's like a very good personality, great person, actual, real bettor who moves at scale. I like that one quite a bit. Number 2 was Ferris. What is a betting syndicate? Yeah. That was like, that type of content just hasn't been done, honestly. So I think that's pretty unique for anyone who wants to know what a real betting syndicate looks like. Ferris episode was really good. The last one I'm going to say with a caveat, but the fake professional sports bettor gets exposed. Simon Hunter episode. I love that episode. And every time I hear it back or listen to it, or someone else messages me saying like, "Oh, love this episode," I agree. I think it's amazing. But the caveat is that every now and then I go read the comments to that episode and I want to off myself. There's just
I
so
see
many
them
people
every
who
time
won't
because
get
I
it.
get notified.
Yeah.
So I see everyone.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah.
It is really, really difficult.
It's hard. Like I'm not I don't know like what you'd classify me as. I'm not a sharp better at all, but like I've been around you guys for a long time. Being around the very smart people, being around the chats, like all that kind of stuff. Follow the right people on Twitter. So like I know what sharp betting is. I know the concepts. I know how to apply them. Like I'm fully immersed in all of this now, so I get it. And I read these comments, and I'm sitting there like, "Oh my god! Like this is hammer to the head. Like just want to jump off the balcony kind of thing." Reading these with the amount of like belief these people have in it. Yeah, sharp adjacent. That's probably
Sharp
fair.
adjacent is a good one. Listen, I mean, it's challenging. I honestly appreciate every single person that's here in this chat and comes in regularly. Obviously, the content that we produce is a little bit more niche, but we're not the guys that are just going to throw out bets for the sake of throwing out bets. And we're not the guys, and when I say the guys, I'm talking about the Hammer as a whole, that are going to misrepresent ourselves and tell you that we're something that we're not. You just heard Zach talk right now about what he actually is as a bettor. We're not here to sell you. We're just here to be ourselves. And honestly, I think that's the way that space needs to be. And that's why I love the Simon Hunter episode, but that's also why, in a sense, it's really painful sometimes to go back and look at those comments. Like really, really painful to look at those comments. Yeah. But what are you going to do? Sometimes that happens. Garth Brooks got a live concert following Dolphins Jets on Black Friday. You're a Garth Brooks fan for sure, Zach. Don't lie to me. 100%. You know some your Garth Brooks bangers for sure.
Yeah, I know Garth Brooks. I think I don't know. I couldn't like sit here and tell you song names, but if we played them, I would know Garth Brooks. I actually, if I searched them up here, I could probably figure it out. Also, I sent in the chat there. For people looking, Trent Hill, episode 81. Pisky, which Moretto mentioned, which is actually also a very good episode. Like Pisky a lot, is episode number 83. And then I'm trying to find other ones to help answer people. Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay. Is that who sings the original Friends in Low Places?
I can't.
You know what I'm talking. You know that song, Rob?
You know how you don't know any like Limp Bizkit or Papa Roach or what? Garth Brooks is not. He's not in my. I don't know. I apologize for not knowing. I'm sure if I heard some Garth Brooks tunes, I could get down.
I got friends in low places.
Yeah, I know that song. I know that song. Yeah.
Drown.
Yeah.
Good tune.
Garth Brooks.
Good tune.
Friends in low places. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I know this dude. Dude. We can't.
Also,
play.
Rob, what was your NHL parlay? Just quickly.
Because
Columbus won. The Kings won.
Columbus, LA, New Jersey, Carolina.
Okay.
And
New Jersey up 3-1.
Oh, Carolina
yet
lost.
To start.
Sons of bitches. Those damn Hurricanes. Damn it. Second half line at Pinnacle. Steelers -3. Total 19.5. First half stats. Tennessee, I mean, equal yards per play. 5.7 yards per play each, which was, I'm a little bit surprised by that. I felt like Tennessee was a little bit more efficient on offense. I wonder if the success rate and EPA numbers would tell the same story, but penalties were the story of the first half. There was 11 accepted penalties in total in that half alone. And whenever that happens, it just kind of throws off the flow of the game. Honestly, it's kind of, oh, here we go. Never mind. I was wrong about, what am I looking at? Oh yeah, there we go. Tennessee won 42.5.
This is game line. Am I looking?
Yeah, that's like the adjusted game line, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to find second half for you.
When we get a primetime over, honestly, I'm tempted to bet the under. I'm tempted. I feel like both of these coaches, when they get the lead, are so conservative. If you go back to like the Titans' second half pace, when they have a lead under Mike Vrabel, is incredibly slow. They've just dragged it out. They've run with Henry. It's been a touch. The Maple Leafs are done, my friends. I am worried. Zach can confirm. I saw
It's
the
2-2, Ian.
I saw the pumpkin picture that you confirmed earlier this morning, Ian, from Francesco as well. Guys,
Oh God,
sick fuck, man.
No, Ian, the word I couldn't believe he bet. Oh no. Oh, I thought that was what I said. He bet on the Bruins today.
He bet on the Bruins?
Leafs on the on Edgework.
Oh yeah, I saw Moretto. He's like, it's a win-win situation no matter what happens, right?
Yeah, what a scumbag.
Yeah. The Leafs are losing the deserve to win a meter, which means they'll probably win the game. That's just the natural state. That is the natural state.
Yeah.
So what happened? Why am I getting so many DMs at once? Something big happened on Twitter tonight? I don't know. Something big happens on Twitter every night. Oh, GRP wins is going on
He's going on
Be Better
Sky
Betters.
Pods, or yeah.
Be Better Betters. That should be an absolute banger. But no interview will compare to this week's Circles Off with the doctor. Dr. Eric Eager.
Rob, we're matching tonight. Look at us.
There you go. I got Jeff wore his Pinnacle hat earlier. We all put the swag on the same night. Yeah. You look like less of a trucker with the hat than Jeff did, though. Jeff looked like pure trucker. like he had an 18
At least they don't look like
out his
me.
front door. Yeah, Zach. You know what? Zach, take off your hat for 1 second. Take off your hat.
I left it.
Zach looks like Mel Gibson, Lethal Weapon 1, with the hair and the dirty stash. He looks Australian.
Isn't Zach just like what Raleigh fingers? Isn't that like the picture?
What is the closest comparable to Zach right now? We need to know in the chat. I can't put my finger on exactly what it is.
I tried to leave it for you guys, but it doesn't seem to have worked too well.
Yeah. Yeah, Eager, you look like an undercover cop. That's what
There
you
we
look
go.
like. You look like a
Like
narc
that.
with the hat on.
Mm-hmm.
Eager the narc.
Yeah, you do kind of look like a
Forget
Eric,
Dr.
You kind of look
Eager.
like the typical like television high school narc.
The sad fact is, after I missed this, like 2 weeks ago, maybe because I had the flu, and I was like on a really good like workout regimen, and then it just like went to hell. So I went to the gym today, which I like normally like bike there, and I got to be honest, a 2-mile bike ride had me like dead. I ran a few miles. I'm just like, I feel like complete hell. So yeah, that's mostly the reason for like the lack of like showing my hair / oh my God. Yep. There we go.
Eric, don't you have the rowing machine in your house?
I do. But I do like just like getting outside a little bit more but I do have the rowing machine in my house. I just, it was a day to go to the actual gym for me, but
Seems like you need to download Pokemon Go on your phone to get you out of the house. Get to the local gyms, get in some battles with some little kids that are there. It's the dream. Absolute dream.
Pokemon Go. Hilarious.
Pokemon Go. Big third down here for Tennessee in the start of the second half. Levis has looked pretty good, Eric, so far.
Well, that's what I wrote in my bottom thing. I think this game has been halfway decent.
Yeah. You know what? I got to switch this caption. This caption cannot stay for me anymore. Oh, but I mean, Levis has gotten away with 2 bad throws so far to start the second half.
Yeah, I think he's more encouraging than good, but that's better than what the Titans have been dealing with.
But you like the thing that killed me at the end of the first half was that draw on 3rd and 10. Like this kid marched you all the way up the field in 50 seconds, less than that in like 35 seconds or whatever. Throw after throw. He has a touchdown if Spears doesn't trip over his own feet running backwards. And then you call the draw on 3rd and 10. Like, get real, man.
It's so bad. It's the Tajay Spears thing was like a very bad break for Tennessee here.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is maybe a game like we've done so many Thursday night games or Monday night games where like none of the teams have been that bad, but like there's one team that pulls away. Maybe both of these teams are bad, and for that reason it looks close. It's a close game. But I don't think neither team has really made a mistake, which has been good from a turnover standpoint. Which I'm probably jinxing all the people who had under interceptions for our guy Pickett.
Which defensive player did you give the tackles out for today on the show?
Aziz El-Shire, and I'm hoping that he was hot at the beginning. He had 3 in the first quarter, I want to say.
I think he's still at 3, but you need to get the Steelers back to pounding the rock. Steelers
right,
football.
Exactly. I have not. 15 pass attempts for Pickett is cramping my style here a little bit.
Yeah, I don't have much. I have a little bit of Steelers tonight. I had I wanted Najee Harris anytime touchdown and over on rushing attempts. I didn't bet either one, and the touchdown obviously happened. Rushing attempts, he's at 7 now.
He looks good. Look at this like burst by Najee Harris.
It's very unusual to see this kind of stuff from him, but yeah, it's.
I had my friend who texted me, who's a Steelers fan, goes, "Is their defensive line just bad?" Which I think like they're just conditioned to like believe that rather than their offense being any good, which makes sense to me.
I had Whale Capper on in the second quarter, and we were chatting a little bit. What's with the new? Maybe you know more about this new injury designation, but I saw on the broadcast when there was 2 Titans defenders hurt. There was one was who was questionable. Someone was questionable to return for them, and then Sean Murphy Bunting was strong questionable.
No, that's not a thing, right?
I swear to God, it was on the broadcast. It was there, and apparently Drew's like, NBA is doing these different designations.
Why don't we just put probable on there again? Like, what
does strong questionable mean? Someone has to tell me what's that. Like, is it closer? Because strong questionable is 50-50, like in that range, right? Is strong questionable implies to me that it's closer to 50-50.
Yeah.
But apparently it means the exact opposite. It's like closer to doubtful than anything else.
I refuse to get it, I think, because we had probable, questionable, doubtful, and out, which was 25, 50, and 100. Right? No, 25, 50, 75, and 100, right? But that was like what it was for. And then we took out probable for some reason because the Patriots fucked it up and put Tom Brady as probable. Remember when they put Brady as probable with the shoulder for like 10 years and then he tore his ACL the 1 week they didn't put him probable?
I do remember. This is hilarious. Strong questionable, my betting record. It's very funny. Doubtful is not 25%. Whenever it's doubtful, like they never play. It's got to be like actually 5%. Yeah. It's basically like out, but they're somebody's going to go to the temple or the local church and pray for them over the course of the next 24 hours, and maybe they could possibly suit up. Al-Shaair with the solo tackle, man.
There we go. Love that for us.
For you there.
So he's at 5 now. So he's at 2 this drive.
He's at
assist, and
they credit him 2 assists on the last 2 tackles. So he's at 1 and 4. One solo, 4 assists.
So he's halfway there. The Steelers, the Steelers grind this out. I also have a little. I didn't like the number, but in like, when you look at for example, like the underdog play, right? Like, where they have anytime they have like an under interception prop, it's like priced at 50-50. But for Pickett, I made the number like minus 125. So that's one that I also kind of like. But he's been sailing passes, my friend. That's been a grind.
From like the second pass of the game, I was like, oh man, he has been sailing passes. And then the one time he didn't was the one where Allen Robinson was open in the end zone. and he underthrew him by like 2 yards. So
Allen Robinson's career has just been an absolute priv, like for him. Like the years where he was actually a good player, he obviously couldn't buy a good quarterback play, and then now that last year he had a good quarterback and it was just horrendous, and now he's back to being a guy with a bad quarterback.
That second down run to Warren was highly unusual, I gotta say. Like it seemed like someone ran the wrong play, I think.
Yeah, it looked like they were pass blocking. Which, yeah. Every Pickett dropback's an adventure.
Yeah.
Like that should have been picked.
We were talking about a little bit about circles off before. Geriatric said we need Diggs.
Diggs messaged me on Twitter. He said, thanks for the shout out. He must have enjoyed our discussion.
You might be the connect between us and Diggs.
Yeah, I told him, look, like he said he would only do like Travis Kelce's podcast and like a Taylor Swift podcast. But I said, well, how about Red, Gold, and Bold? My Chiefs podcast. That's like the intermediate step, I think. But I don't know why Pickett's throwing it to that player anyway. Like that's an unforced error. Like why are you throwing it to like a H-back on a corner route if you're trying to move the ball is a good question.
Sounds like you're a hatter of Kenny Pickett. That's what Seville would say. That's what Diggs would say. You would not call him a hater.
I feel the funny part about Seville is it's like they have like a rule book of like words you cannot spell correctly, like the
shrap,
the gambling. Like and I feel like Diggs does a good job of like sticking to it too. He doesn't deviate much.
I have a civilian coming on Circles Off in early December. Stay tuned for that one. But we will have some civilian representation in December. These pumpkin seeds, man, roasted pumpkin seeds.
Dude. There are some very good there are some like low-key foods that Alshire got another assist there.
This is slapping for you now in the second half of this drive.
There's some like low-key like boiled peanuts, like growing up in the north. I say in the north, but you guys are Canadian. But like growing up in the north, like boiled peanuts, I've never like had them, and then coming down here, they're freaking amazing. And roasted pumpkin seeds are also great.
My wife put like an assortment of spices on this. It's like some salt, garlic powder. She went hard on the chilies, but it's working. It's great. It's great.
Yeah, that's great. So this weekend, I have tickets to the Falcons-Vikings game that I had from like way back, and now it's going to be it's going to be Taylor Heineke versus Jaron Hall. I got to ask you because I wrote down on Twitter like some of the privileges. Like I once went to a game at Lambeau. The only time I've ever been to Lambeau. The game was started by Scott Tolzien and Christian Ponder. I've been to a game. My first ever game at Arrowhead was started by Matt Moore and Matt Castle. During the pandemic, one of my best friends is a Giants fan. I took him to the Bengals, and it was like there was like 10,000 people or so in the game, and it was Brandon Allen against Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones got hurt in the second quarter, so it was Brandon Allen versus Colt McCoy. What is the worst quarterback matchup that you've seen in person?
It was my first ever NFL game. It was Charlie Batch against Brad Johnson. Brad Johnson wasn't even too bad.
The Silverdome or Ford Field?
That was at the Silverdome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you and Kanish like probably ran into each other without knowing it, like as kids?
I'm older than him, but possibly. Yeah, I never honestly. I've been to a lot of good quarterback matchups.
I have too. Yep.
Last year was Burrow Tua. That didn't last long. It turned into Burrow Bridgewater. I've seen Carson Palmer, Jake Delhomme was one that I've seen. Yeah. Who was quarterbacking the Bills when I saw the Cowboys there? I was at the Romo 5 interception game in Buffalo, Monday Night Football. where
So
they
was
won.
was that Kyle Orton, or was it earlier than that?
Trying to remember who was the
Yeah,
QB for the
I'm like actually pretty. I'm like you. I've been to a game started by Charlie Batch. I've been to a playoff game started by Tavares Jackson. I've been to, but I've been to 4 Burrow Mahomes games. Those are great.
That was
Burrow,
Romo,
Mahomes'
Trent
Cousins was
Edwards.
pretty good the other day.
Trent Edwards was the quarterback for the Bills in that game.
Oh God, what a priv!
Yeah, that was a priv. Mark
Look at
Sanchez
Najee Harris
versus
doing some things.
Mark Sanchez versus Colt McCoy from M Hunter. That was that's a tough one. Mark Sanchez. I saw Aaron Brooks was not. He had some moments. Aaron Brooks. Like when I think back on Aaron Brooks, I don't think of him as a true priv quarterback.
No, Aaron Brooks. Look at Aaron Brooks in 2004. Aaron Brooks in 2004 was like one of the most efficient passers in the NFL, and they should have made the playoffs that year. I think they missed like a field goal at the end of one of the games. But in 04, 03, he had 24 touchdowns, 8 picks, about 7 yards a pass attempt. Like he was pretty good. And then they had the year where the Katrina happened and he struggled, and then they moved on from him to Drew Brees. And then he went to Oakland and was terrible. But like every quarterback that went to Oakland ended up, like, think about like Kerry Collins, Dante Culpepper, Aaron Brooks. They all like went to Oakland to like die.
Right. I got a recommendation for you. If you're going to be in attendance at this game, you need to go out and you need to bet Jaren Hall anytime touchdown score at 6-1, which is widely available. And you have to go find a 2+ touchdown score, which is also available widely at 95-1. Because Jaren Hall will be running at least one TD into the red zone for the Vikings.
That's
me calling my shot.
innovation that's going to come out. I like O'Connell a lot. I think he's going to probably innovate on their game plan. To your point,
different quarterback. They haven't seen him. His combine numbers, and same game parlay them too. Yeah, his combine numbers, man. I didn't realize how fast this guy was. His 40 was amazing for a quarterback.
Yeah, every sharp person I know in the NFL liked him.
Really?
Yeah, like it's stupid because like no one was willing to take him until round 5 or 6, right? But they were like, everybody's like, I would always like text around and be like, what quarterback do you like in the later parts? And you get like, you got like some of the candidates like Tanner McKee, Clayton Tune. But like
I know
said Jaren Hall.
I know all these quarterbacks, by the way, purely because of doing those mock drafts for all the teams last year before the draft. I'm always drafting a late round quarterback. Aiden O'Connell a lot of times. Tanner McKee was definitely one that came up a ton. Stetson Bennett, obviously.
Yeah, Stetson Bennett. Amazing stuff.
Yeah. You're slightly ahead of me on the stream right now, so you've seen this TD already.
Yeah.
Did both feet inbounds?
I don't know. It doesn't look clear actually.
So I just saw the play live and I was like, Pickens should have done a way better job on this play. Like maybe not.
He's out. He's out. That's not a touchdown. They re-ruled it anyway. Yeah, I hate to be that guy, but that's like a lot of the reason why people didn't like Pickens coming out was he was like attention to detail and kind of
like drag your foot.
Kind of douchiness.
Like, this is a joke, man. For a professional receiver, drag that second foot.
Yeah, he must have thought he had a lot more. He must have thought he had a lot more space. Holy buckets. Pickett, yeah. I'm just glad Pickett didn't throw it to the other team on that play.
Welcome and not too happy with you. What are you looking at, Tom? They have the field goal unit on the field?
Welcome said, "Go fuck yourself, Tom." That first GFY you get on Twitter, right? like is an exhilarating experience. But then you never miss it after that.
Oh man, that's inexcusable. Saints or Browns for Survivor.
The Brown, I don't know how you can back Cleveland. I know that Arizona is like, trying to lose, which but Arizona like kind of messes around a lot, and you just like don't know who the quarterback is going to be for Cleveland. It's going to be like probably Walker, but like you just have too much uncertainty there.
The fuck around, find out meme.
Yeah,
that's how I feel like taking Cleveland in Survivor. You could put like the fuck around, find out type of meme. Like it's like PJ Watt. I mean, but you could say the same about Derek Carr. Yeah. I don't know. I'm pretty invested on Cleveland missing the playoffs at this point, so I'm kind of rooting against them.
Yeah, I did Sam Panianovich's pod today. By the way, I had a fuck ton of media requests this week. It was weird, but like I did Sam's, and Sam did like this analysis of what Derek Carr was as like a big favorite, and it was like 17, 34, and 2 or something like that, like ATS.
He sucks as a favorite. It's not even a big thing. He just sucks in a favorite role. Now, like, is there anything to that? I don't know. Yeah. But where I had a note on Derek Carr for this week in particular.
I've always hated him because I always felt like every win he ever got against the Chiefs was annoying as hell. And then and like I just like always just hated his mannerisms and all that kind of stuff. Like I just think he sucks. But I know that that's not like hashtag analysis, but he always is just kind of like ruined my experience whenever I watched him play football.
I'll give you some hard-hitting analysis, Eager. Derek Carr against cover 2 this year, 28th in EPA, 29th in success rate. Do you know which team in the league plays the most cover 2?
Their opponent this week.
The Bears play the most cover 2. Now, the Bears defense sucks.
I guess this is an interesting thing, Rob, right? So I know you said this on Circles Off, and I know you don't want to give away anything. But what's interesting, right? I wrote about this at Sumer in the summer. You do like I think you obviously break this down with the data that you have, and it's awesome. I think that do you put in the variance associated with each of those? Because okay, good. Because like defeating cover, so like I always say, oh, the Bears have a shitty secondary, but it's like play zone. It mucks up mucks up the variance so that it doesn't matter quite as much. I've always said, like, you think about, remember the Ravens who just ran man coverage and were a great defense in like 18, 19, 20, but they go and play Kansas City, and Kansas City would just fillet them because all man coverage does is exacerbate the difference in skill between the offense and defense. And all zone does is like basically turn it into not zero, but like mucks it up because zone stuff is just like unpredictable.
Eric, it would take somebody literally 30 seconds of staring at league-wide data and looking at quarterback EPA against man versus against zone. And they'd look at all these numbers against man and they'd be like, why would any team ever play man defense? These numbers are through the roof. Like the 25th best quarterback against man has like a positive plus 0.1 EPA per play. Right. Like it's just like shorten the game, and we're seeing more and more of the zone coverages now, but there's
I wonder what the evolution will be, right? Because for all those decades, with Tampa 2, it was like you just have to get bigger corners who will chuck the wide receivers and kind of get in the flats, and there's not a ton to it, right? You had linebackers that, the middle linebacker was like Urlacher, who was a safety in college, and he could just run to the middle, be like a third safety kind of thing. Yeah. And tight ends kind of killed that defense, but there's not enough good tight ends in the NFL to do that anymore.
Right.
So I wonder what the evolution will be. Another offensive line injury for the Titans here.
Yeah. Is that Dillard? Yeah, it is. So it's been I believe though Skoronski and Brunskill both came back into the game. But Dillard is a problem because now, like, Nicholas Petit-Frere left the game. Now, granted, he was questionable to return, not strong questionable. So he might be back. Duncan's coming in the game. That would be Jalen Duncan. That's third string left tackle coming into the game for the Titans right now. And remember, they're already down there starting right tackle as well. Oh, that's a bad injury. Oh, I don't like those knee shots, man. Hopefully he's okay. Do you know much about Jalen Duncan?
No.
6th round pick in this year's draft out of Maryland. That's your left tackle right now if you want to go out and live bet the Steelers in some capacity. Might not be a bad idea. Might not be a bad call. Okay, so this is wow, that was almost complete. So Seth brings up something that we kind of talked about on our pod, right? Dillard kind of sucks though. He does. But oftentimes there's still a downgrade, and especially to a 6th round rookie who just like first play is a pressure. Oh, did he catch? Oh, he almost caught that. He dropped it. Never mind.
Yeah, that was a pretty like dangerous play for the Steelers defense.
Yeah.
I kind of like his mobility. There's also Rob, there's got to be an edge in, I guess, like it's holding plus, but like this is the other like reason mobility matters. I got to do this study, but like basically buying time in the pocket means that a corner is going to make a mistake.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that there's a decent, interesting.
I can't stop eating these pumpkin seeds, man. It's a real problem. It's a real problem. He was very quick he was very specific to say before the quarterback was out of the pocket on this Patrick Peterson play. Yeah. Now I'm interested to watch the replay and see if that was actually the case. So 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, honestly, it's kind of a shit call. It technically is a call by letter of the rule because he wrote him like 7 yards instead of 5. But come on.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry with some burst. Wow.
Yeah, he and Harris both look decent today, which has been a surprise.
I mean, Najee Harris is way over his rushing yard total. There's like a bunch of services released as under. Which I get. Like the Tennessee defense has been pretty good at stopping the run, but what are you going to do? All right.
Yeah.
Kyle's been hitting hard with some of the jokes today. Been hitting hard.
Yeah, this is kind of a mash unit of an offense for Tennessee. Rob, who's coming in the fourth quarter? Is it G-String George?
It's G-String George. He's probably not happy with me.
By the way, G-String George, love the guy. When he guested on Forward Progress on Wednesday, he really could not stand any discussion of the chances, for the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday morning. Like the look on his face of like disgust was like palpable.
He was visibly ill.
He was visibly angry, it felt like.
Man, that screen. Levis is playing well, man.
Yeah, he is. And he's big too, so he kind of takes the hits, well.
Like a lot of quarterbacks would not have. Like, holy geez, he got smoked, and his head snapped back right off the ground too. Oh, huge hit. Now, was Simon Hunter The guy that wanted Levis drafted earlier or didn't want Levis drafted? I never got the full story on that. Are you aware of whether or not Simon was
I thought
pro?
Simon was talking about Anthony Richardson, wasn't he?
Oh, was it Richardson? That he wanted the Colts to draft Richardson, or he didn't want them to? Do we know the story? I don't really know. It's all made up, but do we know what the actual story is?
I don't. Yeah, it's interesting. I think he wanted Richardson to the Colts, but maybe not. I just never believed anything about that story was true. So I hadn't even thought about what it could have been or what the lie was constructed out of.
Yeah, I still cannot believe the whole thing. I cannot. I mean, the guy was giving out draft bets and consulting for a team at the same time. I'm not sure, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was an interesting one. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what the full story is there. One day we'll get it. One day he will grant me an interview. But until then, I don't know. Looks like G-String getting ripped in the chat for being Miami homer. For being a Miami homer. Can't blame the chat. Guy definitely is a Miami homer. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. The Steelers' big stock here.
By the way, can we talk about Nick Saban for a sec?
Sure, but we're gonna do it with G-String.
Okay. Is G-String a fan of? Oh, he's here. Look at him.
Hi. It's a nice.
You know what?
By the way, I like your hat, George. You were visibly upset when I was making a case for Kansas City Sunday morning. Explain.
The problem is none of you were making a case. You know what your handicap was? Oh, Patrick Mahomes is the greatest ever, and I'm getting him at 1.5 points.
Do I need more of a handicap, George? Do I need more of a hand? I could have did this with Tom Brady for years, and I'd be retired on a private island. Instead, I didn't. I tried to make the sharp plays, and look at me now. Look at us now. We look like 3 fucking telemarketers, basically, for Pinnacle.
Oh man.
I
got triggered at the Saban thing, big time.
So it's funny because I did this whole hey, people are like, well, what if you called it evidence-based analysis? I'm like, yeah, look at the U.S. political climate and tell me that evidence works as an argument. But then somebody was like, well, respectfully, it's the arrogance to assume you could run a program better than Saban. And I'm like, this is the whole point. No one said we could run a program better than Saban. We said that he's a donkey at understanding the 4th down models, which is evidently true.
How he could not first of all, I feel for him because the example brought up by McAfee was mind-numbingly terrible in the first place, right? The whole 80-20 thing. If you had 80% chance of converting on a 4th down, you go for a 4th down on every fucking play wherever you are on the field. If it was 80%, that was the first thing. What about the 20%? But it really, people are so scared. They're so scared, and they do not understand. There seems to be this universal belief that if you do not get a 4th down, it's the team just might as well just be in the end zone already. You can get stops. But why do people forget about this? What I was very happy about today, Eric, was at least I didn't get the commentary that you did. I got my following was in agreement with me, which was nice. That was nice.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few people who are if you didn't act this way, people would be more happy. I'm like, well, I sold 4,000 books last month, so I'm pretty sure people are my disposition is being welcoming to analytics, but it's the whole thing of when you're wrong, you get mad at the way people say it to you, and it's I don't know, I can certainly be a dickhead sometimes, but I feel for the most part, I try to soften the blow a little bit.
You just
except when I talk about Chiefs Dolphins, when the best player in the entire league is basically you're laying a quarter with them, you know.
You know what makes me sick? This sounds exactly like the KC Philly Super Bowl whole handicap of Mahomes. And, KC was fortunate to win that Super Bowl, for just being honest for a second. But everybody victory lapped it as if they made this great handicap of just taking Mahomes under a field goal. And I'm afraid that you guys want to do that again. Nobody's told me what matchup advantages Kansas City has in this game. Explain to me how they beat Miami. That's what I want to know.
Well, for starters, they're going to go up and down the field, and they're just going to keep scoring touchdowns, and they're going to get some occasional stops.
Are you sure Miami's defense is bad? Like, are you sure?
No, I'm not sure about anything, though. I'm not sure about anything. But I think probabilistically, George, I think the probability that their defense is as bad as it's been so far this year going forwards is extremely low.
Do you think a coordinator of Fangio's track record with, quite frankly, Dolphins have talent everywhere, if we're just being honest and just, judging everybody by their individual talents, do you actually think that there will not be a positive regression? It has to be.
Yeah, I think the likelihood of a positive regression is high. It just depends on what you think that positive regression is going to be going forwards.
If we get an above average defense, and I'm not asking for much, maybe the 14th best defense, that's more than enough.
I mean, Vic Fangio is 65 years old, man. His principles could be, how old is Saban now? 70? Fangio's not far off from that. I
don't know. The people
it's
who
a young man's game.
The people who run his defense still do well with it. So let's see.
They do.
Well, you said kind of.
What do you mean, kind of?
I think that the defense now is it's part of table stakes for sure. I think that's he has revolutionized the whole league. I wonder though how much of this new stuff has been a derivative of what he used to run in the past.
Yeah, it could be at the very least, it's the inspiration for what he basically told people to do: take away explosives, allow people to run, and it's kind of changed the NFL right now.
Technically, positive regression is an oxymoron. Yes. Well, not really. I mean, you can regress positively or negatively.
It's not true.
But you wouldn't say positive or negative regression usually. You would just say regression. But anyways, long story short, George.
Yes.
I'll tell you this. If in Frankfurt on Sunday morning, the Miami Dolphins beat the Kansas City Chiefs, I will come on the program the next week and I'll say to you, George, this was entirely because of the travel situation for Miami.
Yeah.
And Kansas City got screwed. They had to go out to Denver before the Germany trip. They chose to fly out late in the week. There's no way in hell you're getting me to admit next week, one way or another, that the Dolphins are any good.
All I'm saying is the day that I hear the handicap for why Kansas City wins, other than Mahomes, is minus.
G-string. No. On the show, I said the Chiefs have a fantastic defensive line. Amenahu, Jones, Karlaftis have all emerged. The Dolphins have always struggled at the line of scrimmage this year when they've been overmatched there. And the question is this matchup on the defensive line, offensive line, big enough, right, to warrant a similar handicap as the Philadelphia, well, not similar handicap, a similar result to the Philadelphia Eagles against them, right? And the answer is the Eagles have a better defensive line, but I think the Chiefs are, a tier below, and I think that it's probably good enough in this game.
I don't know. I didn't hear any Dolphins offensive line issues when Armstead and Connor Williams were there. Suddenly they get hurt. And granted, we don't have the depth that other teams do. But there was when Tua had 1 sack in 3 games allowed, there was no talks about this bad O-line. When we were averaging 7.5 yards per carry in those first 3 weeks, I didn't hear anything about a bad O-line. We got to factor in that if Armstead and Connor Williams are back, I'm not seeing this defensive line advantage that everybody else is.
It
All right,
depends on what.
I gotta find my way to their. I know Armstead's good. But again, I think the Chiefs' defensive line is like better than simply feasting on backups.
I know. I think the liability is overstated of what the Dolphins' healthy offensive line looks like. And that's why this matchup's so intriguing, because we're going to learn a lot about both teams. I'm not betting Miami. Last week I bet against Miami. I'm not advocating for Miami. I'm just saying the level of confidence people have to bet Kansas City is astounding to me, when I think Miami has the clear matchup advantages. Your only fallback is I've got Patrick Mahomes.
But that's not the only fallback. This is
I am loving
people
this.
want to
By the
get
way,
mad at the Chiefs, right? Because for a number, like the wide receiver play hasn't been great and the fantasy production hasn't been good. This is the best Chiefs roster that Patrick Mahomes has been on.
Mm-hmm. But
Right?
it's also flawed, though.
But they've all been flawed, and they've just Patrick Mahomes is what, like, I don't even know the stat because he's lost so few games. It's not even like worthy of doing because the sample size is so low. My guy has lost like 15 career starts. What are we doing?
I'm aware. Listen, Eric. 4 years ago, I said Mahomes is the greatest quarterback I have ever seen in my life, and will one day pass Peyton Manning's 5 MVPs. I said it 4 years ago. I was very aware of it, but you're crazy if you think that the receiving core is not a flaw. And also, I know their defense has played good, but I'm saying this week we'll actually know their level, because this is the first real high-end offense they're playing against.
But George, in the AFC Championship game, for example, they played the Bengals offense with 3 rookie corners in the game for like 50 snaps.
Yeah.
They've gone toe-to-toe with some pretty good offensive support. The Super Bowl, they gave up some, certainly to the Eagles. But for the most part, their defense has been pretty good for like a year and a half now. This isn't like just a 1-year thing.
No, it's certainly not a 1-year thing, but like Miami's offense is incredible. Like,
yeah, sure.
Tyreek Hill's got 1,000 yards in 8 games. Like, I want to see them against this offense. Like, I'm tired of feeling like we don't have the matchup advantage every game we march on the field offensively. Other than maybe a Cleveland, I feel pretty confident about my offense going up against any defense.
you guys done?
Listen, we might come Monday.
I'm enjoying this.
We might come Monday, and I might look like a fool. And I want 2 caveats here. I did not advocate for Miami against Buffalo or Philly. I noticed that those were tough matchups for us. I think this is a really good Miami matchup.
Okay.
Caveat number 2. That was number 1.
Oh, the other caveat is I don't bet Miami. Like, I'm capable of betting against Miami, but the handicap has to make sense to me. My numbers don't get there.
I don't know. This doesn't work for me.
No, I don't know where
it doesn't work for me. I'm going to call you. I get to call you a homer.
Who gets
That's
to
the way
3?
this works.
Who gets to 3 with their numbers? Because I can't get past 2.
I don't get to 3.
Precisely my point. So, like, on a game that's line 1.5, we're all banging our table like we have a real edge here. Like, come on.
In fairness, there was a market making book today that was taking high limits at pick 0, which I was trying to get down on, and then some stuff happened. Call it what it is, but yeah, I'm very interested in let's say minus 120 or less on pick. That's my interest.
I can only find one bet here. If Miami gets to 3, I'd be interested for the first time. That's it. That's the only way I can find a bet on this game.
Yeah. I'm going to find some Chiefs alternate line bets. I'll tell you that. I'll find some of those.
I'm paying whichever one of my scumbags has good video editing skills. I want to pay you a nice sum of money to edit all the crap that's been said all week about Miami. I want to come up with the most ignorant social media video to come out with Monday morning. If you are a scumbag and have proper skills, just Twitter DM me here, okay?
That's why I wore a hat, in case I say something stupid, no one recognize me. But
yeah, this is it's just. I mean, you really do look like a narc, Eric. I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't know what the combo of everything that's going on, the goatee and the gray sweater. It's It's very, very narkish. But listen, in all seriousness, I shouldn't say this, but I'm very likely going to pull what I call the Vegas Dave special, which is I'm going to go out and I'm going to fire some bets on like KC alt lines. I may have already done that. And then if it wins, I'm going to victory lap them. And if it loses, I'll just be here the whole time and be like, George, I told you I couldn't make the game 3. I made it under 3 the whole time. It's not like there was much of an edge. This is how the content business, this is how the sports betting space works. And that's the way that the Pizza Man is going to approach Chiefs and Dolphins.
Rob, did you find a bet on a side in the Super Bowl last year?
Yeah.
You did? Okay. And you found Mahomes?
No.
You found the Eagles? Yeah, right.
I bet the Eagles money line.
Yeah. There's people victory lapping like that as if they had some concise handicap, and I'm like, all right, man, a fumble 6 and an iffy penalty, and you look like the biggest idiot who found value in a game that was lined properly. But anyways, I digress.
I really did like that matchup for the Eagles.
I did too.
In hindsight, I still do. But I mean, go back. I mean, I wouldn't make the same bet again because honestly, it was just a coin flip game. And I think it proved that it was just a coin flip game at the end of the day. So, but I really did like that matchup for the Eagles. Oh man. Treylon Burks with the catch. Man.
Yeah, big catch by Treylon Burks.
Oh, can we talk about Will Levis?
Yeah, he's
are you guys as impressed as I am right now?
He looks good. He looks like Herbert did at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, Will Levis looks very solid. Very solid. It's funny because so many people watch this guy in college. I don't watch a ton of college football, but they're like, I don't see it, man. Like, I really just.
But he had some of the same stuff that Herbert had, where he was better earlier and then got worse in his last year. Like Jordan Love was that way. Herbert was that way. Purdy was that way. If you looked at Purdy's like stat line upside down, it made more sense than right side up at Iowa State. So
yeah,
I think that's a characteristic.
Those numbers they just showed on the broadcast of him facing no blitz tonight. I mean, the blitz numbers are actually good too, but the no blitz ones are absurdly good.
Yep.
Absurdly good.
All right, fellas, I'm gonna go back to the layer here. George, good luck this weekend.
Eric,
I'll be rooting against you, but I wish you luck.
If the Dolphins win, I'm gonna order one of your books, but I want it like personally transcribed. This is why
I will sign it. The Dolphins rock. Tua is him. Blah blah blah. I'll write that in there.
But if the Chiefs win, I want you to sign. This is why you always bet Mahomes under a field goal.
All right, guys, take care.
Take care.
Oh yeah, Levis has looked solid tonight.
Yeah, I have to do a reevaluation of like, not that I created a very strong number and an opinion on a guy that I've only seen one game of sample size on. But, man, I don't know how they turn back to Tannehill now. There's no way.
I don't think that they will necessarily. Okay, so Tennessee is at Tampa next week. I don't know off the top of my head, like market power ratings, these teams are pretty close to equals, I would say.
Are they at Tampa Bay?
They're at Tampa. So my guess would be that let me find the look ahead number. I'm assuming the look ahead is something like Tampa Bay -1.5, if I had to guess.
I'm gonna find out what I would make it right now.
Pick or Tampa Bay -1. Yeah. I could see a pretty drastic shift in this line.
I had Tampa 1.5 before this week's data, so subject to change.
Right, and most of the chat here, Tampa Bay -2. Bucks -1.5 or 2. Yeah. Okay. So like this is going to change, right?
Yeah.
Like this is even with a loss, I think at this point,
I think he's already shown enough that he's not a negative as a quarterback. In fact, he's probably a positive.
Yeah. I kind of want them to, Steelers bad. So yes, I want them to lose, but I kind of just want a scenario where I can bet Tennessee next week. Yeah. Like Tennessee lose here, Tampa Bay smoke Houston or something. That's not going to happen, but can hope. One can hope. I just watched this third down penalty. I don't know how this wasn't a false start on this play.
Oh, I gotta tell you, I was watching you and Drew
Yep.
was like frozen frame robot.
Yeah, he was sauced at the airport.
But so right now I'm behind you because I'm in this room, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But in my TV room, I'm ahead of you.
Okay.
But Drew with the world's worst internet was somehow ahead of me too.
Yeah, because in Canada, the Prime games, the Amazon Prime games, that feed that goes to TSN is slow as hell.
Really?
So Monday Night Football, I'm ahead. The Canadians are ahead of the Americans.
Mm,
Thursday Night Football, the Americans are ahead of the Canadians.
got it. That makes a lot of sense.
It's whenever they switch to the Amazon Prime, that's when it happened. So
You know,
there's
I was so used to my second quarter time slot, Rob, and
yeah, it was
I was worried, now that Pinnacle is sponsoring the stream, I think Alex is like, you know what, better to get him later when how in wrestling, the third hour of wrestling is when they did all the raunchy stuff, the kids are in bed. I think
yeah.
just to play it safe, he's like, let's just put G Stack in the fourth quarter. He's a little bit of a loose cannon. We don't know what topic is gonna come up. And I suspect this is why I got the new time slot now.
I actually made Zach double check before the show. I'm like, G Stack fourth quarter. I'm like, this is wrong. He's like, no, that's what I got. G Stack's fourth quarter today. But the third quarter was like kind of the raunchy quarter for us. It was a lot of, pedophilia jokes in regards to Eager and the narc stuff. And, so that was like the closest we got tonight to really pushing the limits.
I'm gonna be on good behavior unless
no, listen.
unless somebody in the chat, wants me to turn it.
Here's the beauty of Pinnacle, and I'm saying this in all honesty. One of the best brands you could possibly get as a sponsor because they're great to bettors for one. So, I've been betting at Pinnacle for 20 years. I love the product. I love the people. I just love the brand. That's one. But the second thing is they basically just told us like, do what you do. Like we love the content. We all watch it. We think it's hilarious. It's great. Now Kyle Jubert in the chat sometimes puts some stuff that's a little bit over the line, which I can't bring up on screen. But aside from that, we got the freedom. We got the freedom, G-Stack. So whatever it is, Stonked Up, though, wants to know what your skincare routine is because you got the rosy cheeks. Looks like maybe some blush or something like that going on.
You know what? My father gave me a lot of his bad tendencies, spending habits, bad hairline, everything. One thing him and my mother gave me was nice baby skin. So I got to thank him for that.
There you go. Me and you are the same age and you look 10 years younger than me. So that's good.
I have a cousin who's younger than me, and we have asked Rob, no kidding, 300 people who's the older cousin, and never, not a single time, not once. And you would think it's a loaded question like, oh, they're obviously asking because the guy who looks younger is older. But I look so much younger that they won't even bite. They're like, no, it can't be. It's just not, that's not a thing.
It's funny. This is also funny. One mention of the Greek national soccer team. We cannot mention the Greek national soccer team on this program.
Why? What happened with them? I'm
unaware
of the story here.
Yeah, weird. Yeah, long story. I'll give a TLDR at some point at another time.
I texted somebody after the first drive of the Steelers.
Texted or sexted?
Texted.
Okay.
I said, Matt Canada and Kenny Pickett kind of look good right now. And you know what they responded was, it's early. And like, 4 drives later, I'm like, yeah. You know what? Pickett does not look good. I keep trying to see the positive side of it. And like, just some of his mechanics are awful.
I was high on Pickett as a rookie. Like I thought that he got a bad rap for a lot of stuff last year, which was scheme, other things. I thought he actually did a really good job of hanging in the pocket, taking hits, making throws. Yeah. I'm off the Pickett train now. Yeah. I've seen enough where and like Matt Canada on the sidelines is just as bad as Matt Canada in the
I'll tell you the game I came off of. I just got to look at their schedule. When I knew like for a fact, I'm like, okay, he's not it. Let me see.
I'm just kicking myself for not playing the second half under either, man. That was a dumb move. Okay. Wake didn't win. They lost, but I covered the spread. Damn, that money line would have been nice.
I knew right from the Texans game. It was week 3. I'm like, that's it. I am done. And then I bet against them, and then they won against the Ravens. So that was fun.
That was that week 3 game. I bet the Steelers. In hindsight, the Texans were missing like their whole O line against the Steelers front.
I know. Bobby Slowick drew up a nice game plan, and in that game,
they were cooking, or as Sumas would say, they were cooking.
Have you heard from him? I texted with him this morning.
Yeah, he's all good. He left in classic Suma fashion. I guess people don't really know Suma's personality as well as I do, because I talk to him every day, and he's more like stoic when he does the can get him to laugh. Every now and then he like loses his mind about something, which was like who did he lose his mind about? Robert Saleh early in the year, right? When he kept starting Zach Wilson. Robert Saleh got to stop with his shit, man. Got to stop.
Yeah.
He left his laptop at the hospital where his child was being born, and he had to track that down for a large portion of the day today. So not a fun day for him trying to do that. Also, listen, Suma, you're a great dude. I don't have kids, so I don't know, and I think this is Suma's second. But my first thought, if my wife is going to go into labor, and
you gotta,
it's probably not. I got to pick up my laptop and make sure I can do some work.
Oh, I was gonna say you got to make the baby so that it lands not in football season.
Well, that too. That's a huge mistake. 100%.
Yeah.
You should be impregnating at the beginning of football season.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, right.
I'm gonna have some April babies. That's right, the sweet spot.
100%. That's the first and foremost, like, number one rule of thumb. Obviously. Second thing, I could picture like Suma's wife in labor, and Suma's just like working in the corner. And he's like, I got to get my numbers in, and he's like, I can totally see it.
Yeah.
Suma totally lost it when someone said Russell Wilson was having a better year than Mahomes. That sounds like something that would really trigger Suma.
I feel like I'm getting painted as that crazy guy who's defending the Dolphins, as if like, the guy who said Russ is better than Mahomes. People are making it out like I'm like this. I've been advocating to bet the Dolphins every week. I don't think I've done that once.
Well, it seems like you have, George.
No, I just think I actually didn't push back the week you guys took Buffalo and Philly. This week I'm pushing back. I believe that this game is not the same. I
just noticed Al-Shaair on that tackle there on second down and looked at his stats. Eager, I think, cashed that bet pretty easily. He's got 5 tackles, 5 assists now.
It's wild. He was the 3rd best linebacker for San Fran last year. Trey Greenlaw and Fred Warner were keeping him off the field for most plays. That's how loaded that linebacking core was.
Now, this was a great throw by pick. This was a great throw, great catch. Corner looks like who is that got burned? Avery? Yeah. Looks like he's wasn't happy about a push off. You know what? That subtle little push. You know what? It's a good play.
I like Deontay. I think he's got such a quiet, good game. Do you remember maybe 15, 20 years ago, guys like Jimmy Smith and Rod Smith, who didn't get a lot of publicity, but they were like surefire 1,000 yards every year, quietly good?
Yes. Yep.
Deontay kind of gives me those kind of vibes.
The guy for me that was always the most underrated receiver was Anquan Bolden. He was so consistently good for so long.
Yeah.
Oh, he's out of bounds at like literally the 1-inch yard line. We're not going to get into another 1-inch, quarter-inch, half-inch discussion with George. We already know what he would pay for an extra half-inch.
Oh, but speaking of, when you do the best of, Drew Dinsick talking about Andy packing.
I marked that already. 100%. He completely missed the question. Like when it was unit size, it was definitely about.
Oh man, who does the editing for that? Which of the producers does the editing?
Jacob puts together the
If-
highlight reel.
If Jacob, like, if Miami loses to Kansas City and my clip is talking about how we have all the matchup advantages, I'm gonna get really mad at Jacob. You know, he's gonna make me look like a fool.
So, in fairness, Jacob's in the chat right now. So noted for the next one. I hit like a marker whenever we're having either a very good conversation or a funny one. There's nothing positive for you that's coming from this. That's like when Jacob goes back and reviews all the stuff, he's gonna go through these, and it's nothing positive.
Drew with the great pull. Remember Chicago Bear, Mushin Muhammad? What a good pull.
Yeah.
I love Joe Horn. There was a bunch of them like that, just quietly underrated guys.
Joe Horn, incredible celebration with the cell phone.
What is the greatest? I actually have. What is the greatest celebration ever? Is it the signed balls by T.O.? Is it Joe Horn?
It's Randy Moss pulling his pants down. The fake pulling where Joe Buck is like, and that is a disgusting act by Randy. That is the best one.
That's the legendary
one. Fake mooning of the crowd. Disgusting act. Like, get real, Joe Buck. What a loser, man.
I love, honestly, Terrell Owens is one of my favorite players of all time. The pom-poms, they hate to love me. I love T.O. He was great.
What just happened? Deontay Johnson just dropped a touchdown. That's like, now is this going to be an offensive PI or a defensive? Holy jeez.
Do you guys like soccer celebrations? I had to hop in there.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about, like, there's good hockey ones, but like I don't really like the soccer ones. They just run to the corner and like slide.
Yeah. Well, it depends. Cristiano Ronaldo has, like, as much as I don't like the player, he has a very famous celebration, right? The jump and you know, like that's. Yeah. But it depends. You know, listen, when
like
I played soccer, for a while. Jacob was actually a very good soccer player. You played university soccer. When you score a goal, like your first inclination is just to like run and slide because you can. Like
I guess.
So it's
I think soccer is better than hockey celebration. Hockey, they got to ring a horn, right? And then they all get together. And
George.
No, soccer's good because they all dive and pile up, and it breaks a lot of tension.
Deontay.
That's his first TD.
You know what? I didn't put any bets in for the stream today, it would have been pretty solid, man. Like we might have crushed it today. Is Westbrook Akine still at 1? Yeah, he is. I really fucked up. I fucked up. Oh well, that's on me. That's on me.
You didn't bet his under?
I didn't for the stream.
No.
Sorry. Well, listen, it's different. We have to be price sensitive. I preach this. How could I do this with?
No, I'm laughing because I'm gonna give some props to Adam Chernoff. I play his pod in the morning.
Yeah.
It wakes me up out of bed as I'm lying down and trying to get out of bed. And
it's funny you say that. It actually puts me to sleep usually.
Well, he mentioned Westbrook Akine, and I'm like, really? I had to check my ears.
When this happens, okay, I'm gonna let people in on a little secret here, okay? When our boy Chernoff says a service released this, service play on this or whatever, 9 times out of 10, it's Hitman. Because Hitman was the guy who released Nick Westbrook Akine very early in the week. It's always Hitman. I didn't know that they're close or whatever, but now it's like I put all the pieces together.
I just felt like, don't give that stuff out on the pod. It's unnecessary. Just tell us what you think of the market and the side and the total. And
some people want context. I get it, but now, I say it too. Sometimes I say it was a Right Angle Sports release.
No, I just mean calling out some obscure stuff. I don't. Anyways, you should hear what I listen to in my morning shower. When my morning shower podcast is that is something else.
Peter Jensen. What's deep dive? Oh, it's the picture.
Jeez.
Holy jeez, Andy is Is he wearing a jock strap in this thing? Did they have him put a strap on before? Not a strap on, a jock strap on. Holy jeez. I've met Andy in person before. I putted against this guy. Come to think of it, he did rub up against me a few times. It's tight on those mini golf courses. Me, Andy, and Geoff Fienberg all together on one hole, trying to pass by each other. It gets tight in some of those crevices.
Did Andy win?
Andy is arguably the worst putter I've ever seen in my life. Now, actually, I shouldn't say that. He had no chance. He flew in the morning of. Me and Geoff have been practicing for days on this court. He had no chance. People were betting him at an offshore, like he had some sort of hope.
Comment is crazy. Oh, I like Devs. Whoever this guy is, you have won the comment of the day so far.
Oh my god, man. Oh
shit.
Andy is a great dude, man. We found our way to like a local Myrtle Beach spot, just drinking some IPAs, watching some playoff hockey. Joey Grable in the chat, he'll remember as well. Big night for the Leafs that night. I think they beat the Lightning in game 2. 7-4, something like that. And he looks like he's smuggling Yoshi.
Oh, man.
That's, yeah. Well, at least, listen, good on Drew to admit where he might be lacking. Honest man. That's all I'm looking for, man. Drew's an honest content creator, great guy, full transparency. That's all we ask for. That's what the Hammer is all about.
I think we should all be obligated to tell everybody about the size of our hammer. I think that should be an obligation for full transparency.
So here's what I'm thinking. The hammer.bet, we have a creators section. Instead of using our headshots, we'll just take dick pics and put them up there. No,
we got to save that for the OnlyFans, another revenue stream.
It's true. We might have to go down that path. Thank you to Pinnacle for sponsoring this stuff, or else we would have already been down that path.
Oh, man.
Seriously, if you're in Ontario, bet at Pinnacle. I'm not just saying that because they're sponsors. Good book. Very good odds. Make sure you check them out. And if you're going to sign up, use code HAMMER to do so. HAMMER. Eric Molds. You remember Eric Molds?
Oh, yeah. Loved him. I remember him and Peerless Price. Bills had a couple guys going for a little while.
Yeah.
The rest of the roster wasn't very good, but they had a good receiving core.
Is this comment in reference to the dick pics?
Yes.
Johnny's gonna have to review them individually.
Oh, that's
imagine I told every day. I told everyone that everyone's got to submit one. Send it to. I'm not gonna give out Johnny's email. Shouldn't be too hard to figure out. Imagine what he would wake up to.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do that this in 2023 though. That would have been back in the day, 2013. That would have been a banger prank. Just like I used to tell people at the office to visit lemonparty.org back in the day pretty frequently. Couldn't get away with that in 2023.
We used to tell people in the car business, we all get a really nice pen when we first start off at the business. You just got to go to penisland.com and give your sales license, to get your pen. Penisland.com.
The old penis land prank, man. Yeah. Those are the days. There's a lot of good ones, man. You used to go to the Platinum Super Bowl parties, right?
Yes.
Okay, so one year I was there, and unbeknownst to me, you remember how these parties were. So for context for people in the chat, these are like local mob parties that they like. The local bookies made so much money in the year that they'd throw a Super Bowl party with like fucking 5-course meal for everyone. They rent out an entire hall. They're auctioning off or raffles for Harley Davidson, Rolex, Cadillac, whatever, you name it. And unbeknownst to me, one of my friends went to one of the many rows of laptops on site where people could place bets.
Yeah, that was the cool thing. They put rows of laptops so you can jam in your bet.
Yeah, you could. No, we weren't using cell phones to place bets at that time. You go to the laptop that was there, log into your account, place bets. My buddy changed the home screen, the home page on all those from Platinum Sportsbook to lemonparty.org.
No.
So at halftime, it's just a flood of like old Italian guys rushing to go place in their bets, and they're all clicking to open up the browser, and it's just dicks everywhere. Like Lemon Party up all, and everyone's like, "Oh, what the fuck is this?" And they're like, everyone losing their mind.
Yeah.
That was a real challenge one. Big fourth down here. Big fourth down, Georgie. That third down play call was like, we are going for it on fourth type of play.
There was nothing worse than the other third down play call.
Wow. Oh, Burks is out cold. Oh, fuck, man. I hate to see that. It would have been a really hard catch. Oh, man.
Your words are saying, I hate to see that, but I can see a little grin there. You're holding back a grin.
You know what, George? I told you at some point this year you would get an honest reaction to an injury, and you just got it.
All right.
Just to prove that I'm not a scumbag. I told you at some point this year you'd get an honest reaction. This is very good for my bet.
I want to pull who thinks Rob was being genuine there.
Here we go.
Or was Rob holding back a smile there? Can we get a poll here? I don't believe you, and I don't think the scumbags in the chat believe you either.
I think they should. I was obviously I didn't have time to plan this course of attack here, George. I didn't have time to plan this. I'm definitely of course. Here we go. Thank you, Daniel. You know what?
Well, Alex, you're right.
Does Alex's opinion matter for anything? Let's be real here. Does Moretto's opinion even count? If I want other people here. Cabbage Buffalo. Get the Cabbage Buffalo. I'm going to make an example of you. You're going to go in timeout real soon, like when Lay It With Luke joins the chat. It's a pretty mixed bag here.
What's the poll results here? What do we do?
It's pretty mixed. I see the chat right now. It's pretty mixed. No, it was an honest reaction. I hate seeing stuff like that. I hate it. But we do have the Steelers with the ball. I'm not gonna say it wasn't good for the bet. I wish he would have just dropped the ball, George, and not concussed himself in the process. Like, I don't need Treylon Burks to be out for another week now because of a concussion. You know what I'm saying?
You say that until Tennessee's got the ball again, and you're happy Treylon Burks isn't anywhere to be found on the field.
And then Kyle Phillips catches like a 60-yard bomb because he's in Treylon Burks.
He had a good game today. He had a couple catches.
Yeah.
Hey, if this results in a Kyle Phillips anytime touchdown, I will be pretty happy.
Yeah, you hit it too, right? The off market 14-1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I'm not happy about the injury, but
if
later on that happens, then I'll come back to it.
You're hiding it so well with that smile.
I'm only saying if that happens, then I'll retroactively be like, oh yeah, if that wouldn't have happened if not for that. But in the moment, this means nothing to me. Nothing.
Oh no, the card is out for this guy too. Oh my god!
All right.
Now
I feel like not really. But
yeah, well, it's all right. Did you bet Steelers or no? Or are you just rooting for injuries in general?
No, I have no bets on this game. This is why I agreed to come on in the fourth quarter. Otherwise, I wouldn't be this calm. Because last time I left the stream, Rob, feeling pretty good about Buffalo -8. Yeah. And then calamity happened. If I was on in the fourth quarter of last week's game, it would have seen a whole ugly side of me.
Yeah. I mean, his head hit the ground hard. So you assumed concussion, right?
Yeah.
But looks like they're trying to stabilize him. So maybe neck injury. Yeah. Look, I mean, I don't know. But he knocked himself out right away. You can tell. Yeah, like I don't know. They're showing the replay on the broadcast, so that's when you know.
I would say whiplash. Like this is like a heavy whiplash.
neck type of situation where they need to stabilize the neck before they put him on.
For sure.
Tough, man. Tough scene. Don't like to see that stuff. He's moving. He's moving.
They should cancel the game and void all the bets.
You know what?
No, we've passed the 55-minute mark. You're good, Rob. And I know you're worried about the cancellation void right now, but you're good. Don't worry.
I do know the rules. I do know the rules of the wagers, so we're okay at this point.
Action is live.
Yeah. Seth is asking, have you watched a Chargers game live with Geoff? So previously in life, yes. I'm not exaggerating. He drank an entire bottle of Crown when I was with him. He was fucking sauced. Like he refuses to do these streams during Chargers games. He's just like, he's like, I don't mind doing other games or whatever, but I can't let people see me. I can't. And I get it because I've done these streams for Cowboys games before. And, I did the playoff loss to San Fran last year. It sucks. And you kind of have to restrict yourself. I don't want people to see me at my absolute worst,
You did that. You did the live stream of Dallas San Fran. Wow.
But I also did the Dallas Tampa one the week prior. That was fun.
I managed to bet the wrong side of both those games. So
welcome to my life, buddy.
I couldn't figure out Dallas for the life of me last year.
I'll blame Suma for the Tampa loss. He was really selling me hard on that one. And I was like, you know what? Yeah.
Dallas was the single worst team that I bet on or against last year. I could not figure them out.
So this play here that's going to come up after we resume play is going to be 2:06 left. The Titans have all 3 timeouts. The Steelers are at the 46-yard line. There is no shot in hell the Steelers should try to run the ball on this play.
What's the live line on Najee Harris over 2.5 carries right here?
Like, I know what the Steelers are going to do.
Yeah, they shouldn't. Oh, do you think we're gonna get to a point where Jalen's the guy? Like, this is Zeke and Pollard now, right? Like Najee's only the guy because he's the first round pick.
Yeah.
Warren just has more juice every time he touches the ball.
He does, but maybe Pollard's not good this year. So maybe there is something to splitting the workload a little bit more than we realize. And I think that's fine.
He also has the injury. Like there's
yeah.
But yeah, he really is like been a nothing. Like I don't even consider you guys to have a good run game.
No. Matt Canada has to dial up a passing play that's going to take more than 6 seconds. It can't be a quick incompletion. If it's going to be an incompletion, you throw down the field or you run a play action or something. But you just tell your quarterback internally in your head, you do not release the ball until X has elapsed, or you dial up a deep ball.
5-step drop. You'll get there, right? And no short throws.
Yeah. Well, like running back screen is dangerous. I mean, it's a high percentage completion, but he might have to throw it into the ground or whatever.
I saw Najee drop a really high percentage completion already.
And of course they just ran the ball for fucking negative.
Wow. It's
like the dumbest team. The dumbest team. They're so stupid.
This is the counter argument when people say, "Oh, what do you know? These teams are smarter than you." Like literally, this is the dumbest analytical decision. Now they got bailed out because the run took 7 seconds, but it was unnecessary.
Yeah, who cares about the time it took? Like you get a free pass, basically. Yeah. You're getting a free chance to pass. Yeah. At this point, the team is expecting they're. Oh my god, man, George, these teams are so fucking like. I don't know how Tomlin does it. I honestly don't know. I seriously do not have the slightest clue. They make the dumbest choices. They are literally in a better position now if they just take a deep shot on first down.
It's odd, man. Like it feels like they win in spite of their stupidity and lack of a game plan.
Jamil says, like, when does Tomlin's rope run out? When the voodoo stops working, how long can you live on legacy? Bill Belichick just signed an extension. He's lost it completely. Tomlin's there until he doesn't want to be there anymore.
What they actually need is a GM who's forward thinking and says, listen, I want you as my head coach, but we're going to hire a smart, analytical, offensive minded coach. That's what they actually like. And I know Bobby Slowick hasn't shown to be this great genius yet, but that idea of DeMeco Ryans hiring a guy who's forward thinking, they have to do that. They absolutely need to do that.
Yeah. 2nd and 13.
They're showing Matt Canada. I hope they're talking about how stupid that decision was.
I just don't get it. Like, you got to have someone on the side. Oh, they ran to the outside. Yeah, Titans are ready for this shit. They know what's coming. Like the Steelers are about to dare the Titans to go the length of the field with no timeouts.
Well, did you see all three safeties were like within 8 yards of the line of scrimmage? Like, of course they're ready for it.
So Traylon, so they were reporting on the broadcast that there's a neurosurgeon. The Titans have a neurosurgeon on their staff that's evaluating Burks now and will decide whether or not he goes to the hospital. This is a really random question, but I'm very interested in where this is coming from.
Have you ever had?
Is there any? I like chestnuts, but they're tricky. You got to be careful not to get them, like, overcook them. They become a little too dry, you know?
Yeah, you have to cook them just right. And when they're done just right, they're so good.
Yeah. I'm going to go on record and say I hate everything that the Steelers did on this. I hate this so much. I hate this entire drive. Time is not an issue for Tennessee here. Like, throw the ball.
Yeah.
You can win the game.
Yeah. You have one throw to win the game. That's it. One throw to win the game.
Like, I don't get it. Like, I will never get it. It's not smart.
That graphic.
Nick Saban-esque, man. It's just so stupid.
This is an underratedly great weekend for football. Like, they didn't even show the Seattle-Baltimore game, but like Seattle-Baltimore, Dallas-Philly, Miami-KC, and Buffalo-Cincy, those are 4 banger games.
Yep. Yeah. And then there's just a lot of non-banger games. But you know what? We can bet on them, and that makes them somewhat of bangers, right?
Yeah, I think there's only 4 lines that are above 3 this week, or 4 or 5.
A lot of backup quarterbacks, though. It's
we got some Minnesota steam though today.
Yeah.
Drake London, 2 DNPs. I would love for him not to play.
Oh, Minnesota's very live in that game.
Oh yeah.
We almost got the pick on first down. Levi, you got to catch the ball, Levi. Levi to end Levis's night would have been something else, man. Good coverage.
He's right. M. Hunter's right. Like, everything's on 3 this week. It's such a nobody wants to make a decision.
In the 30s, God, some of these games, man.
Even the Green Bay line went out to 3.5, and then there was a little bit of pushback today.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. They got to occasionally send some pressure on Levis. They got to occasionally send some pressure.
I just don't understand. Like, they blitz 40% of the time. Why they thought that sitting back was the strategy to go? Like, I would have sent overwhelming pressure, just considering how bad the O-line is.
Yeah. Here's something really interesting that I saw today. I saw it on a Twitter graphic, and I didn't even realize. I wish I could credit who it was, but it had something to do with pass rushing rates and whatever. When double teamed, do you know that Alex Highsmith is being double teamed at like double the rate of TJ Watt this year?
What?
Yeah,
that just sounds so ludicrous.
I didn't question. I didn't believe it was right, and then I followed up with one of the data providers that I purchased from, to get their metrics, and it wasn't quite as drastic, but they're like, yeah, Highsmith is drawing more double teams than Watt.
Wow.
Which is very, I find that very unusual.
Yeah, he's like one of the 3 best pass rushers in football.
Yeah. Oh, is that a catch for a Quanko? First one of the night, I think. I haven't heard his name called at all.
He's been a ghost. I thought he'd have a better year than he's having.
Yeah. All right. I do love when it comes down to it's a bad throw by Levis. 4th down. Yep. And he says he was just double teamed there and Watt wasn't.
I saw it.
Interesting. Yeah, this is happening to a lot of the great pass rushers now. They're getting chipped with whoever was running a route on their side intentionally.
So they don't
New
consider
age
that a pure double. They don't consider that a pure double team.
Correct. Yeah. But still, wouldn't you think you would chip Highsmith and double team Watt if you were going to do that? Right? I don't know. Anyways, I'm not a defensive coordinator. I don't claim to be. I just found that super interesting when looking through some of the data. Is there a Dolphins watch along with G-String on Sunday morning? There will not be.
Andy, you don't want to see me in the morning, Andy.
You don't want to see George when he wakes up, puts on his headphones, listens to the soothing voice of Adam Chernoff and the simple handicap. You don't want to see that.
No, I don't wear the headphones. I just smack it, click it. I'm like, all right, let's hear what Big Churn has to say while I'm slowly waking up and falling in and out of my coma still.
Yep.
Okay, I actually have a question for you. How many alarms do you have to set? Are you one alarm you're up? I need
7 snoozes.
Yeah. So Rob, if I know I gotta be up and about at like 7:30, the alarms start going off at like 6 o'clock. Because
Same with me.
I'm a slow winder. It takes I need to really like get into it.
That's game, baby. That is flag. Late flag. Tipped. Tomlin saying it was tipped. All right, here we go, baby. Tomlin voodoo. Can it come through? Oh, defensive holding.
Jesus.
Game goes on. Vrabel voodoo.
M. Hunter puts one alarm on, puts it far away from his bed. That sounds awful.
Yeah, I did that for a while to make myself get up. And then I stopped doing that. This is a way to make yourself get up. What was that holding? Can someone tell me? Like, what am I out to lunch? Did they show that? Was there? Give me another view or something where I can see.
It's Hopkins gets rewarded for not being able to create separation.
Yeah, like what was that? What was that? No, so my wife hates this. She yells at me pretty much every morning. She goes crazy and she's like, why don't you just set one alarm and wake up? And I tell her, I'm like, you don't understand. There's nothing better than the feeling of turning over, looking at that time, and knowing you can still sleep for another hour.
Yeah. 100%.
That feeling, she's like, you're not really sleeping properly then, though. Like, you're not getting into a deep sleep. This is horrible. I'm like, but the feeling that I can sleep more.
There's nothing worse than waking up and knowing you have to get up right away and like you're almost in a panic state. Whereas I like to, have a lot of time.
Are we going to see a Levis legacy drive? Because that was a great throw over the middle of the field. 26 seconds left to go 36 yards. I have an app that makes me solve 3 math equations in order to stop the alarm.
That sounds awful.
This is fucking misery, man. Misery. But first of all, this can Matt, listen, I don't want to judge, okay? Listen, to each their own. You're single. You're a single man. If you were married or sleeping in the bed with someone else, they would absolutely murder you. I know. Listen, everyone's gonna find that person that they're looking for, but that's hardcore right there.
My brain power is just not good in the morning. I play on chess.com and I pour through the data, and like whenever I play in the morning, I'm far worse of a player because I'm just not processing with all the brain power. I'm just like I not only need a shower every morning just to wake up, I also need the coffee, like it's the whole process of getting me ready.
Yeah. I shower about 500 times a year because I shower no matter what. I cannot get up in the morning. It's the first thing I do.
even if I don't leave the house, football Sunday, I still have to shower right in the morning. Summer, it's like for sure I have to shower.
My wife thinks I'm insane sometimes. Like, I'll shower in the morning. Oh, you got to pick that. Come on. Yeah, I'll shower in the morning, and then she'll be like, you want to go out for lunch? I'll be like, yeah, I just got to jump in the shower really quickly. She's like, you showered 3 hours ago. I'm like, yeah, I was sat at my computer and I was sweating. Just people want to play you in chess, man. Maybe when the Sports IQ showdown is done, we'll do a hammer chess tournament.
I have to ask you that. What's your thoughts? Let's pull up the bracket where you think the rest of the tournament's gonna go here. Because you're the only upset so far, and you were a 9 upsetting an 8, and you rank yourself too low, to be honest.
No, I didn't.
We haven't had any upsets.
I might have ranked Johnny too high, but I didn't rank myself too low. Although a lot of it depends on the questions for sure.
All right, I want to hear your handicap from here on out.
Okay, so you've advanced in the bottom right. We have to update that.
Yeah.
Jeff and Cam is coming out tomorrow. I don't know who won that one as of yet. I don't want to spoil it, but I don't actually know. Hitman Suma is a good matchup. Eager's still very favored, man. Eager's favored. Moreto's kind of a dark horse.
I think even Moreto's a spicy matchup.
Yes. We got the pick, baby. Listen, you know what? I'm going to say this about Levis. He played, it's only 16 points. It's not like the biggest offensive output. Road game, team average is 5.1 yards per play. He played a solid road game, man. He honestly did. And the fact that he threw to the end zone here instead of being like a little, there's quarterback starters in the league that would have thrown underneath, done something stupid. Like, you know what? Hell of a lot of respect for Will Levis.
It's nice to now know an extra data point of him without having felt the consequences of okay, I can adjust now. I got it through. I won. Now I can move along with a better understanding of who Levis is.
Yeah. JetBlue Amigo says safety. They changed this rule years ago. If your momentum takes you into the end zone, you can kneel in the end zone. But yeah, his O-line was in shambles. There was a lot that he went through. Good performance. Steelers get the cover. The one prop that I bet won. Eric Eager wins his prop from today. Just a fantastic day. Even the bets I should have made should have won, but it is what it is. G-Stack. This is the last time I'm going to talk to you before Sunday, man. So all the best.
You'll be
the Fins.
You'll be hosting Monday's Forward Progress show if Dolphins lose. Well, I don't think I'll have the heart in me to do it.
Well, here's the problem. If the Dolphins lose and the Cowboys lose, we might just have Monday might not be a day. I fucking hate the Eagles, man. Sorry, Scott, man. I hate the Eagles so much. I cannot. That would be a bad day for all of us. You know what? I'm on air I'll be on air for a lot of the second half of KC Miami because I do Pizza Buffet 11 a.m. here on Forward Progress Sunday morning. If you're watching the game, whatever, just turn on Pizza Buffet. I'll go through the rest of the games on the card. But usually I'm there. I'm glancing at a shit game in the background. Now it's actually a good one. Mm-hmm. So it is what it is. Appreciate you, George, man.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you for having me.
All right. G-Stack George. Give him a like, everyone. Just smash that like button down below. Just smash it real quick if you haven't already. Subscribe here on Forward Progress as well. Today's Thursday. We're done. Tomorrow's Friday. 2 p.m. Eastern time. Prop special going on. Jason Cooper hosts with Matthew Friedman, John Legeza, Zach Miller. It's a great show. If you're into props, I highly recommend that you check it out. Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. I'm back here on Forward Progress Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Pizza Buffet. Then Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time with Clive Bixby. And of course, if you're here just for the watch-alongs, sure, no problem at all. Another watch-along, Monday Night Football. It's the Chargers Jets back here, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I appreciate all of our guests tonight. Geoff Fienberg, Drew Dinsick, the whale capper, Eric Eager, and G Stack George. Appreciate my producer, as always, Zack Phillips, behind the scene. A little bit on the scene tonight as well, but that horrible mustache, I'm not going to ask him to come back on screen again because none of you want to see that. And for myself, Rob Pizzola, thank you to all the nails out there. This has been a live watch along on Forward Progress, part of the Hammer Betting Network, presented by Pinnacle Sportsbook. Everyone have a good night. We will catch you back on the channel tomorrow. Peace.